What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up?
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I don't know why I said every day. Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is Cobra Confessional. Thank you for joining us. What's happening? What's up? I've actually been, what the fuck? Hold on. I had to mow today. I weeded yesterday. I had to mow today. It's been a day. What have you guys been doing? Here's a voicemail someone left me. Hold on. Let's see what this is. Give me just a second. That was Linda Binda in the intro, by the way. I'm Will Bird, this Cobra Confessional. There's no telling what we're about to get into, but here it goes.
I was calling to see if you were going to have any corn this year. Please just let me know if you are or if you're not. Thank you.
What? What?
I was calling to see if you were going to have any corn this year. Please just let me know if you are or if you're not. Thank you.
Not. I'm not going to have any corn this year. Thank you.
I was calling to see if you were going to have any corn this year. Please just let me know if you are or if you're not. Thank you.
Not. Check mark. Not. The corn is a not. What a weird fucking call. They gotta have my number confused with somebody. That was so strange. All right. Anyways, Phil's back. Phil did his thing. Somebody sent me a video. Let's see what this is before we hop into Phil. Phil's depressing. I don't want to cover this shit anymore. It's too depressing, but we can watch something funny before that. Let's see what we got here. Confronting Boogie 299. Oh, we just watched that, didn't we? I can't believe Boogie's lying. So Boogie has a brother, apparently, who is I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't tell you this part. Boogie has a brother who is apparently a doctor. And this Boogie's brother came out and said, this is Brian Williams, PhD, and this is Doc Brian. To those who are trolling my brother at hashtag Boogie2988, I can confirm that his diagnosis of polycythemia vera is absolutely true. He has suffered this debilitating condition for at least 2 years. I stake my reputation as a health professional on this fact at Keemstar. I don't believe it, dude. He messed up whether he's supposed to have that. He said he had. I've done more research on this, by the way, because what I said last night, and I made a Twitter post about it, about if the hormone marker's high, and it makes sense. So, like, let's say you own a factory, and at this factory you make, I don't know, boxes, and there's not enough boxes. You go to check inventory, there's not enough boxes. I'm going to send something down to the people in the factory that says, hey, we need more boxes, up box production. Okay? Now, if I go to check inventory and the boxes are fine, we got enough boxes, but production's at 300%, and I'm like, whoa, where are all these boxes coming from? That would be cancer, right? That'd be cancer. One box is replicating itself, and just boxes are going like crazy. That'd be cancer. But if all these boxes are coming from nowhere, and I'm like, whoa, what are all these boxes coming from? And you're like, oh, well, these memos keep coming. This memo keeps coming. It says, make more boxes. We thought it was from you, right? We thought it was you were sending this memo down again and again and again and again and again. That would be something else, something outside, not cancer. TRT or sleep apnea or something is sending that memo that says make more boxes. It's the same thing with a hormone. So even the hormone marker in his blood is wrong. Like he's got to be lying, or he's the most ill-informed person in the world, and his doctor is dumb as well. I guess if he's repeating what his doctor said, his doctor's dumb and he's dumb. Is that Rick and Morty?
Well, this is a first.
Hey, how you doing?
I've never stopped a UFO.
I come in peace.
Me too.
All right.
This is interesting.
Huh?
Just a couple women in their UFO.
I said this is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to rock up tonight?
That's right. That's
I
it, Brad.
saw outside.
Are you coming with us?
I can't. I got to finish working tonight.
Oh, man.
Can't start till next Friday.
Got time?
Well, when you do 55 on the interstate, it's going to take you that long.
I'm sorry.
That's right. I said when you're doing 55 miles an hour, it's going to take a week to get there.
Well, I can hit the warp speed if you want me to.
Well, I wouldn't want you to do that. I want you to get speeding. Do you have a driver's license and your insurance for this?
Yeah.
Can I see it, please?
Yeah.
I'll get back over here.
Yeah. I'm an ex-police officer.
Oh, yeah, where at?
I was IBD, Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, PD. I got a buddy that works there, but I also have a guy I know that works at Roswell.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Roswell PD.
I'm a Vietnam vet, so I did 24 years in the Army.
I'm going to be out with a modified vehicle. Where's your driver's license? I did. That was fine. You tried it.
Oh, it's an Area 51 alien driver's license card. What the the fuck is going on?
I don't know that you get along around here, man. Handle mutilator.
You would just insure it as a custom car. So lots of people take, and so your insurance, let's say you take like an old classic car, like an old Camaro, and you modify it beyond what most people would consider a Camaro. Typically, you can still insure that. So let's say this is built on a Camaro. Typically, you can still insure that as a Camaro. If insurance ever catches wind of it and finds out, or they have to send out an adjuster or something, they're going to make you do a like a custom car package, right? Because it's outside the realms of what a person would consider a Camaro at that point. But you can do the same thing by putting a fiberglass body on it and a roll cage and removing the interior and making it a fucking race car, basically. Or that guy, you ever seen that guy that's got the pickup truck that looks like it's going backwards?
You wouldn't get far around here. You need like that. Do you have your insurance for this UFO?
Yeah, it's yeah, here's the registration too.
Take that.
Yep. And your insurance. You sure you don't want this?
You got suspended from work. What's up? I finally get to catch you live. I'm off work tonight for the next 3 nights because my ass got suspended because I had to put a cunt in her place. Damn it.
No, I already got one of those.
Well, good. Tomorrow, I'll set up a whole 2-hour-long show where you can call in and I'll give you some anger management. We'll do some role-playing techniques and give you some anger management lessons.
Okay. All right, let me,
I'll be the cunt in the situation. Have you tried just telling your fellow employee to calm down? Mariah loves when I tell her to calm down or chill the fuck out. Mariah loves that. And instantly she's like, okay, whatever you say, boss man. I'm like, that's how a well-oiled machine works.
You're not going to believe that I have Phildo right now.
I got insurance.
Should come up when he runs. Well, in most states now, when they run your tags, insurance comes back as well. It's part of a new VIN number database, right? So your tags has to be linked to your VIN number. Insurance has to be linked to your VIN number, so they can tell if you have. It's not always accurate, so cops will still ask you for your insurance card. But if you tell them like, I can't find it, they're like, I might be able to pull it up.
Do you know your plates are expired?
I did not.
Expired in February.
Are you kidding me? I did not.
So this was a Geo Metro at one time?
Yeah. 90 Geo Metro.
So I'm sure it's insured still as a Geo Metro.
Here we go. Sorry.
That's all right. Do you have an updated one? This one's nearly 10 years old.
Well, I got calling. I mean, I just had it. You know, I got about 70 cars.
70?
Yeah.
That's few.
I have 6 Batmobiles. You know why?
Did you manufacture this one yourself?
Yeah. But you know why I got 6 Batmobiles?
Well, there's only one Batman.
That's me.
It's you?
Yeah, I'm Batman.
Huh.
I do stuff for the sheriff's department. Help you guys.
I appreciate it, Bruce. Can I be Batman?
You need a loan, Major?
No, I don't need a loan. I appreciate it, though. All right, give me a few minutes. I'll be back with you, okay?
I do have insurance, and I did not know. I wouldn't have left. They're having us come to Roswell. And I can have somebody, I guess, get the a tag to put on there.
Have you been stopped yet since you left Indiana?
I have not. But I was kind of hoping that I would because everybody stops me for one reason.
Yeah.
They want to get a picture.
Oh.
And then they want to tell their boss. Oh.
I got all kinds of pictures of it already.
Okay.
It's taking it right now.
and they all want to say that, hey, Captain, General, whoever the boss is,
The sheriff.
I pulled over a UFO and you know what he said to me? He comes and meets.
That's right. Yeah, it's
So he said he was a former cop, but then he says captain or general or whoever your boss is. Yeah, it's the general of the Army Police.
I'm waiting for somebody else to show up because I'm out with a modified vehicle in the shape
Bert
of a
doesn't do
UFO.
shows.
So I'm waiting for somebody else to show up just to see what I'm talking about. All right, give me a few minutes.
Hey everybody, we're gonna get you right back to that body cam in just a minute, but here's a question for you. What a lot of the body cam.
So do all your toggles and stuff work? so they shouldn't go off.
They won't because you are cool.
All right. So where you guys stopping tonight? Just driving all the way?
Oh, no. We're going to stop in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. And then we'll get a night stay there, and then we'll head out. I mean, I can go to a license plate tomorrow.
It's pretty cool.
Well, I think you'd probably have to call.
I don't know what you do in states with inspections, though. I'm assuming he lives in a state that doesn't require, like, it doesn't require, or maybe it's old enough. Some states, if your car's like 20 or 25 years old, you don't have to do emissions anymore because it's considered like a classic car, and they're probably not going to pass current emissions.
Indiana DOR, Department of Revenue, or motor vehicle office, or whatever you have, do that.
Okay.
But
I can maybe have them expedite it and send it straight to Roswell.
But like Tennessee, well, there's two counties. So the county that basically Nashville's in and the county that basically Memphis in require inspection stickers. And then, but the state as a whole does not. It's kind of weird though, because like at the same time, like I don't want my car to have to go inspection. I like modified cars, right? I've had a bunch of off-road vehicles. I've had fucking race cars, like straight up track cars. I like to do shit like that. Modified diesel trucks. But I also don't want somebody with like that doesn't have functioning brakes and shit falling off their goddamn car driving down the interstate either. I don't want to run over your bumper when it rusts off and falls on the interstate.
okay. Yeah, just I don't know how they'll do it there. You may just have to wait till you get back. How long are you guys going to be gone?
A few weeks.
A few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, just to see if people are going to stop talking for you. Okay.
But you know what? I love law enforcement. I love military.
He can update his tags. Well, at least the way Tennessee works, you can update your tags on the app. They'll mail you a sticker. But even when the cops run your plates, even if the sticker's old, it'll say that it's been updated.
Because I'm old, right? You know, I graduated ILEA 8476 class at Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. I was a correctional officer before that. I was an MP in the Army, 21 years in Vietnam.
Well, I'm going to give you this back. This does not look like you. So I assume it's some type of skinwalker or shapeshifter or something.
Well, yeah. See, I have my humanoid book right now.
I told you somebody would show up to have to see this.
You guys can get pictures if you want.
Oh, I didn't tell you that we had to have. I told you we thought a guy had a stroke the other day. That is true. And then the next day, the police showed up. So the campground is like a property on the river, obviously, right? And then beyond that property on the river, there's like another campground place. There's plus the owner. There's islands out in the river, and the owner, when he bought that land, the original purchaser of the land, he bought like the land the campground's on, and he got those islands too, which is kind of weird. He must have bought it a while back because typically, the TWRA or whoever they don't typically sell islands, right? Because the river changes, it moves. Like if you get traditional, like lines laid out, right? For your property lines, the island's going to move. It's going to change. Some parts of it's underwater. Some part of it. What if it goes into drought? Does he just own more land? Like it's kind of weird, but he owns the islands. On one of the islands is like a house almost. It's got power that runs to it. I guess it is a house. It's like a house on one of the islands. Now, the house on the island, you have to go down like this steep ass trail. You have to cross part of the river. You have to jump across some rocks or whatever to get to the you have to get to the island. Well, anyways, that property there is leased out to a guy who teaches like a class or something. I'm not real sure what he does there. I know he teaches a class there. So routinely he goes there and teaches a class and invites people over. I'm not sure what it's about. Maybe it's about rafting. Maybe it's about survival. I have no idea. But the guy teaches a class on that property, and it's leased to him. So even though there isn't a formal lease agreement, he pays rent, uses the property and the island. Somebody, I guess probably over the July 4th weekend, they're not sure. They just found it yesterday, the day before yesterday. Someone went to that property and kicked the fucking door in. Kicked the door in, broke the door, went inside just to fucking hang out, drink, and smoke cigarettes. Like all they left behind, they didn't vandalize it. They didn't steal anything other than the broken door. They didn't steal anything. They just left empty bottles and packs of cigarettes. Like, what fucking asshole just destroys property? Like, they could have just as easily drank on the riverbank.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. They come in peace.
They come in peace.
Yep.
I'm an alien.
So if I can get old progressive, you get a new one of these.
I will. I got one. I just didn't bring it. I got one. I got one at the house.
And this is your registration from 2016. I mean, I know that was like light years ago.
I got a bunch of them.
All right. So your Geo Metro, your UFO's a little wide. Okay. And that wind's catching it, so you're going like this too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I've never, because it's 90, I built it.
Yep.
So it's 96 inches. I know DLT is 102.
Yeah, you're not too wide.
Yeah.
But as wide as it is, when that wind catches it, it's pushing you, on that side of the highway and then on the shoulder.
I'll make sure that, I try to keep up with traffic, but they're
I know, that's why I'm out here.
Oh, it's for the Noli Institute. That makes sense, I guess.
they're breaking the law. So
They're out here trying to do warp speeding. So that's what I'm out here for. And then lo and behold, I come across a UFO.
Yeah, hey,
Parnell.
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you. I've never met anybody from
A humanoid like you.
humanoids like you from. Where exactly are you from?
Anyways, we just had to do a police report. But it is what it is.
I'm actually from.
What's weird is the guy has a bunch of security cameras. Some of them are fake, some of them are real. But the real ones just aren't hooked up yet. Like he installed them, but just hasn't ran the power and wires and stuff to them. They still kick down the door. You had to be brave to do that. I told the cop. The cop had a picture of the door, and he was like showing it to everybody. And we were joking around. I went to school with both the cops, apparently. I remembered one of them, but not the other one. But they both remembered Mariah, of course. They're like, oh, Deep Throat Myrtle. And I'm like, yeah, that's her. Anyways, they both remembered Mariah, and then I think they both remembered me, but I didn't remember one of them. Anyways, I told the cop, I was like, can I see the picture of the door? And he's like, I guess. Like, he was being, like, real standoffish about it. And I'm like, well, I don't have to see it. And he's like, no, I'll get it for you. And I was like, I just want to see if I left any footprints on it. He didn't think it was funny at all. He's like, what? What do you mean, footprints? I was like, somebody kicked down the door. And he's like, oh. And he showed me the picture.
Krypton?
Yeah, I got superhero. I have superpowers.
Oh, yeah? What are those?
X-ray vision. I got to keep the glass on.
I know. I felt it getting hot when you were staring at me.
I love this guy. See,
All right, there's your driver's license back. That's just a warning, okay? I need you to keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard, all right? And then make sure you get those tags taken care of.
Keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard.
Okay?
sure will.
Well, I'll have to ask my boss.
Now, I forgot to show you one other thing.
Uh-oh.
No gas.
Okay.
I am Batman.
I know. He's got 6 Batmobiles.
You know why?
6 movies?
Because I'm Batman.
He can have as many Batmobiles as he wants. That's the old one.
That is the old one. And you know why? Because, well, yeah, but see, the Joker, they're always jabbing with me and blowing up my car.
Yeah.
So I have to have Alfred.
You have to have
another one.
Yeah.
So you can never have enough Batmobile. And you can never have enough cars. You know, I got 7. This is the neatest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, that thing's got to be slow as fuck. A Geo Metro, most of the Geo Metros come with a 3-cylinder engine on them. They got like 40-some miles to the gallon, but god damn, they're slow. I've had 2 of them now. One of them, the whole front, the whole front, I guess, suspension, not like the shocks and shit, but like the actual framework for it, like the control arms and shit, just collapsed from rust. We had to rebuild it to get it back home. It sucked.
Can I take a picture?
You can.
All right, I'm done with you.
Hey,
you can put the lid
hey,
down.
Can you take a picture of the sheriff, Major Parnell?
I'll come around here in a second. Why don't you put that down?
Okay, all right, okay.
And then you guys are good to go.
All right. This is, yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah, that's for sure. These people, they don't, when I see a police officer, I get the other lane.
That's what we hope they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I mean,
Isn't he going to be required by law to have side view mirrors? At least one? I think federal law is just one. Because there was a couple of really low end like Honda Civics that came out with just passenger side rear view mirrors.
it would be chaotic or chaotic is what it is.
It would be.
Thank
All right,
you.
you guys be careful, okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. All righty. I don't know what you have. I heard you were turning as a Geo, and I'm like, what have they done to it? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm like, I come down the interstate traffic.
There you go.
I just see it. I thought somebody was falling something. And then I get closer, I'm like, what the heck? Oh, this place are expired. But he was all over the place. brakes catching him and the trucks go by him. He's only doing like 58. He's a retired UPD guy. So he said, I got like 70 cars. He's like, I just made this one. So they're Roswell fans.
It's cool. Twitch is where we make all of our money. So if you can watch on Twitch, it's greatly appreciated. But if you watch somewhere else, that's fine too. All right, let's go into Phil. Oh God, did he have his teeth whitened again? Is he addicted to whitening, teeth whitening? Is that a thing he has? Let's see. I gotta mute your all's audio and see if he's still playing music and dancing and shit. Oh, of course he is. Phil, this song was popular. This is that the Cowboy Boogie, go and do the two-step and Cowboy Boogie. That song was popular like 2 years ago. It was popular. It was popular. How long have Jeremy and Michelle been married, Mariah? Because that's when we were all doing the dance, was at their little reception thing. That's way over 2 years, right? Jesus Christ, Phil. Maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it was just a 4th of July thing, and I'm wrong.
Grab your loved ones, or grab your love partner. And if you're by yourself, no worries.
Oh my God, Phil, kill it. You think that's Little Nas X? It's not. It's somebody else. What's the guy's name? Blanco Brown or some shit like that. I don't think it's Nas X.
Let's have some fun. To the left, to the
How much of his video is just dancing? It's 16 minutes. He just holds it till the swelling goes down. He just holds it till the bittersweet, salty finish. Now he's just dancing with no music.
Right now.
Oh, he's playing it again.
I just need you to get real loose. Self and give. Put it on the shelf. Gonna do the left hand to the left.
17 minutes. 18 minutes into the video.
We're good now.
He danced for 18 minutes of the video. Imagine if you come to my show. I know I'm not the best at like starting on time, and I get fucking ADHD and cover all kinds of weird shit. But imagine if it was just 18 minutes of me dancing.
Right. Sorry about that.
Blanco Brown is, yeah, that's right. I looked it up.
Is that better?
It's called the Get Up.
Hey, I know. It's on. It's on. Now tell me, is it off? Is it off now? Should be off. Come on, where's all the S's? Is it still on? Guess what?
Edward Snowden doesn't realize there's a delay in his broadcast. He's asking if the music's still playing.
Thanks. It's off. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I'm not gonna explain it, but it was on one. I have like 6 browsers open. It was playing on one. I shut it off on the others, and I forgot about the one that was playing on, which is the main one, which loops through the broadcast. So sorry about that. But yeah, for those of you that just tuned in, you just missed an incredible dance performance by me. And you know, what's the important part about that is that a lot of people tell me that I'm a fantastic dancer, and they say, Phil, you know, you have moves like Jagger. I don't know who Jagger is, but I'm not going to disagree with those people. And it's a lot of people that don't even know each other, so it can't be like.
He doesn't know who Mick Jagger is?
You're just telling me that Phildo because a lot of people say it. So.
What a weird flex.
I'm not going to do two-state. No, I'm saying like I have a particular set of skills, and dancing is obviously one of them, obviously.
Oh, yeah, so I forgot to say that. Phil's got a particular set of skills. One of them's dancing. The rest of them have to do with his homosexual OnlyFans account. Real quick, let me go to this. I forgot to announce why Phil's been absent. So Phil makes this post. Even though he claimed all his absences were because he was sick or couldn't do this or internet outage or whatever, now he's changed all that. And he says, when I cancel a live, do you think I cancel it because of the reasons I give? Or do you think I cancel it because I'm following instructions? Don't forget who you're talking to here. Your reality is not what it appears to be. And then someone named Pablo Espinoza says, rhetorical question, if you had been tasked with deciding for President Trump and the U.S. military who would be the best suited president and vice president team to serve their purposes during the pause, displaying maximum ridiculousness and incompetence as they wrapped up the draining of the swamp, could you have picked anyone better than the character of Bribes and Kamala Harris 2.0? And then Phil says, what makes a great movie? He also forwards something from Burning Bright that says, Biden and Trump now share the distinction of having lost the support of Hollywood, multimillionaires, big tech billionaires, political octogenarians, the self-branded elites of Davos and Aspen, the media and military industrial complexes, and the globalist empire of NATO. Whoever Dems put up to replace him will have the support of those factions, which is curious branding for the party of the common man. Planned, no doubt, but by whom? So I would have never guessed that they would replace Biden, right? It's typically not a good idea to replace someone who's running for president because somebody's usually building momentum, and when you supplant someone else in there, you lose a lot of that. It's basically, people don't want to lose the election, right? People don't want to lose the election. And it's usually, that's what would happen. I do think the Democrats would be able to, I don't know. It doesn't show a whole lot of faith in their party leader at the time. I have heard the media talk. I just don't think they're going to do it. Maybe they'll surprise me, and they will, but I think we're too close. I just don't think they're going to replace Biden. I also don't know that Biden lasts another 4 years if he wins. He might step down after 2. I don't know. I figured they would come out a united front. Usually the left is good at like showing a united front, like but there's some pretty powerful people on the left and the media come out and like, hey, he's kind of lost it. You know, we need to be replaced, but we'll see. He forwards a post from Ultra Pepe Lives Matter. It says Uma Abedin was married to one of Hillary Clinton's allies, Anthony Weiner. Listen carefully to what Trump said in 2011. He mentioned PizzaGate in regards to the Weiner laptop and had the crimes against children allegedly on it. New York police officers had to throw up after witnessing the contents of the Uma Abedin's husband's laptop. These are the leaders of the Democratic Party people. They're in bed with dark forces. He was, I found to be almost unstable. I was watching between PizzaGate and Anthony Weinergate. I found that the Anthony Weinergate to be a terrible situation. He's either incompetent or he's lying. It was him because otherwise he would have said that wasn't him. Who would not know a picture in that rather terrible position? So here's what they're linking to, the videos.
Well, I was a little surprised by that debate because all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and starts going crazy. And, you know, I've known him over the years, and I learned a lot about him that night. I was absolutely shocked. I mean, I found to be almost unstable. And I watched this today because I was watching between PizzaGate and Anthony Weinergate. I found Anthony Weinergate to be a terrible situation. He obviously knows it's him. And the way he's handled it is either lying or incompetent, and either one is unacceptable. So he's either incompetent or he's lying. Now, it was him because otherwise he would have said that wasn't me. 45.
By the way, the PizzaGate, this is in 2011. The PizzaGate, so everything's a gate, right? Everything's a gate. 2011, PizzaGate didn't exist. Not the way we know it now. Right? Not comic, ping pong, pizza, all that shit, right? In 2011, Pizzagate was a different controversy with the same name. It was a meeting, what was it? It was a meeting between Sarah, was it have Sarah Palin in it? Hold on, let me look it up. Okay. The Pizzagate in 2011, because the actual Pizzagate stuff was like 2015, 2016. The Pizzagate in 2011 was a lunch meeting between Trump and former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. The two discussed various political matters, but much of the media was focused on a different detail. Trump ate pizza with a fork. That was Trump's Pizzagate. That's what it was. Now I remember. The revelation sparked a wave of opinion pieces about the proper way to eat pizza. Several think pieces were published around that time, bearing headlines such as Donald Trump responds to Pizzagate 2011, attention hog, Donald Trump addresses Pizzagate via strange homemade video, and Herman Cain on Trump's Pizzagate. If you're born with a silver spoon, you eat pizza with utensils. Trump's 2011 interview with CNN aired amidst this tempest, where he talked about his Pizzagate scandal and the Anthony Weiner situation.
You know, he's almost trying to say, well, I don't know, it's me. Now, who would not know that's him? Who would not know a picture in that rather terrible position?
So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military.
This person can't, she's not that dumb, right? She's not that fucking dumb. She doesn't legitimately think that New York City police officer sees Anthony Weiner's laptop and they had such graphic material against children, they all just puked and vomited and killed themselves, right? Shit all over themselves, whatever, went home and beat their wives.
To take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up.
This isn't you're so fucking dumb. You don't believe that, do you? That was it. So that's the post that he forwarded. Then he says, I've finally been given the, quote, all clear to resume my live stream starting tomorrow. I may do 2 lives tomorrow. Not sure yet. See you soon. Of course he didn't. Right. Of course he didn't. Live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. He then shares a couple things from Sarah Hopp's channel. So he keeps sharing this Sarah Hopp's channel. That's the person I told you the other night that people think can suddenly decode Phil's gibberish bullshit. If you didn't see, there was hundreds of messages of, you know how he does the comms thing, and I usually read them and joke about it and like over the top dramatic reading. He did that for like fucking 3 days. It was ridiculous. Cindy Powell. So Sarah Hops claims that she can decode it, and Phil shares it and gets her followers. And so Phil posted this and says straight up. And it says straight up song lyrics. Oh, are you just having fun? You are so hard to read. You play hide and seek with your true intentions. If you're only playing games, I'll just have to say, bye, 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 bye. Then it says, back on July 12th, 2022, Phil posted a video of him singing Straight Up by Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul in Gematria is 91. Flat Earth, Mirror, Extract, Buckle Up, DeSantis, 9-8. End of Time, Space Force, Social Media equals title of Phil's live back on 4/13/2023. Vendetta, Straight Up in Gematria equals 139. Mountain Dew, Ezra the Scribe, Transition, Phil title of his live back on 12/21/21. An Eye for an Eye, Dragon Slayer, 69 equals 69 equals checkmate. Mickey Mouse, Tupac Shakur. What is even more interesting, in the song Straight Up, the lyrics say, bye, 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 bye. Same thing. And it says, bye, bye, Biden. Then it has a big eyes emote, a surprised emote, and then an explosion emote. And it says, was Phil telling us back on July 12, 2021 that Biden is about to leave? And then he puts a smiling emote with sunglasses as if he predicted that. And then the show, the title of his show, he shares his live stream, is called Project 25, which isn't even the title of it. It's Project 2025, but still.
So, nothing on locals? Should be on locals. You know why? You're probably on the wrong one. There's 2 that are on locals.
Yeah, check this out. I'll show you guys. Close to my messages. Look how much he freaked out with his stupid comm shit. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. For 2 days, he did this shit. Look, mission success, expect us, bingo, pace, go play hockey, burn, blit. 80 Costa for 2. I'm just going to scroll now. For 2 fucking days, he posted comms. And that stupid Sarah Hops and all of his fucking followers are trying to decode them. For 2 goddamn days. Maybe even longer than that. Let's see when he started. Might have been 3 days. I'm still on July 9th. So he started he said Gold Quiz Now. He started July 9th at 5 p.m. Just before 5 p.m. he started. Then, if we go all the way till he did that until July 9th at 5 p.m. And he just posted these comms. This is why he couldn't tell you that his show had been canceled either, because it would mess up his comms. He needed to keep it clean for the project he was working on. And then there's July 10th. Until July 10th at 12:52 a.m. He posted his comms. And then told people, like, sorry I couldn't announce I canceled the show. I got to keep it clean for the current project I'm working on. Yeah, okay. We believe you, Phil.
The one is live, the other one's not. I'm going to delete the one that's not. It's stupid because, let me tell you why that happens. If I schedule the live on Rumble Studio, then it doesn't send out those emails that you guys get for telling you that it's going to be live, that I have a thing coming up, whatever. This is one of the reasons why I made my app, because I'm sick of like the miscommunication between platforms and devices and whatever. So I kind of am trying to bypass all of that. So if I schedule on Rumble Studio, the emails don't get sent out. And I think it's important that those emails get sent out, especially as part of your local subscription. It's one of the perks that you get.
He tries to set them up as if they're like code, right? Like a coding language, but it's not like people know coding language. It's not a coding language at all.
I have to schedule another separate live stream directly on locals in order for those emails to come out. And what that ends up with is 2 locals live streams on the.
By the way, Dr. J Banana won't be here tonight. I told her that was good. Asshole.
Main page. And when that happens, people sometimes click the wrong one. I can see the numbers on locals going up now. So whoever said that, they were probably on the wrong link. So, but regardless of any of that, here we are now. What's up, guys? Haven't seen you guys in what, 2-3 weeks? Yeah. Is this the dance you told me to look for? Unfortunately, no. But I should be doing that one pretty soon. So
it should be doing it
going on,
soon.
Obviously, and I think you guys are. I wasn't really bragging. I was being extremely sarcastic, by the way. Those of you that know me know that. Anyway, for the last week, about a week, I have had a bunch of information that I wanted to share with you guys that every time I planned the show, I was forced to cancel the show.
So he's saying he plans a show, and then someone at the top calls him and says, no, you can't do that. Cancel.
Not through choice of my own, but through higher up channels. And yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Trust me, I know it's frustrating for you guys because I read some of the backlash that's on Telegram and the other comments on other platforms and stuff. So I know you guys get frustrated with that, and it's understandable. But I can tell you this, nobody gets more frustrated than me, because I'm excited to have a live and to hold a live and tell you guys stuff. And I know you're excited to get that information, gather that information, intake that information. And when I'm not able to do that, I'm like, again, it all goes back to, I'm not in control of every single step of this process, or really any of the steps of this process in terms of timeline of things and whatever else. In fact, I have a bird's eye view of what's going on that other people don't have, but even then, it's not a great view. It's not a great view for me anyway. I would like to have a better view of what's actually going on. So I apologize for the cancellations. I apologize for the missed lives. I apologize for the amount of lives that I've been doing lately, because it's obviously not been a lot. But when summer comes, it does get busy in a number of ways. My personal life, as well as the political, arena. I've been asked to do a lot of things lately, which leads me to believe some serious stuff.
He keeps acting as if he's involved in politics. He's not. At all, in any way, shape, or form, has he been involved in politics ever?
I was about to hit the airwaves, so we're going to talk about all that tonight. For those of you that don't know me, unless you have doing to believe some serious stuff is about to hit the airwaves. So we're going to talk, arena. I've been asked to do a lot of things lately, which leads me to believe some serious stuff is about to hit the airwaves. So we're going to talk about all that tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Phil Godleski. I've been doing podcast live streams for the last about 4 years now. Started on Facebook, gathered an audience, went to YouTube, got kicked off there, also got kicked off Facebook. Went over to DLive. We spent some time on DLive and Twitch, got kicked off Twitch. All these platforms are cabal, obviously, and censorship is prominent. So we end up.
Wait a second. All these platforms are cabal. You told everybody that the white hats controlled Amazon, and that's why you got 100% of the subscription. Everybody gets 50% of the subscriptions, right? 50-50. He told people that he got 100% of subscription revenue because the white hats took over Amazon, or took over Twitch, which is owned by Amazon. But then when he got banned, he's like, I'll call somebody and get it fixed, and then never got unbanned, of course. Same thing he says with Telegram. Same thing he says with every fucking platform. I know somebody there.
ended up landing on Rumble. Rumble's pretty much the main platform that I live stream to, but we're also now on Q streaming. I'll put the link for that in my channel a little bit later. And we're also on Locals. It's a little bit better of an experience over there on Locals. You don't have any trolls or any of that kind of crap.
Is he running a candle? I don't know if you guys can notice this, but his camera over here, like where the goat hat is going in and out of focus because the light's getting brighter and dimmer. Is it a candle?
Going on in the chat. We're also on Twitter, and we also have a private Facebook group. So my audience grew from originally, a couple dozen people, a couple hundred people, to a couple thousand, to tens of thousands, to hundreds of thousands. And my average viewable audience right now, I don't even know what that means, but that's what they tell me, about 28 million on average.
Average viewable audience. So we can view it. Why would they call it viewable audience? Because that's not a term they use in any analytics on any platform. Viewable audience. That's not they tell us that we can view the audience?
There are certain nights that goes up to a peak into the 30 million plus range. Other nights it trickles down. So yeah, I kind of built a platform here and gathered an audience, and people apparently like to hear what I have to say about certain things. And obviously I have a little bit more intel than most mainstream media sources anymore. And
yeah, because mainstream media doesn't do intel.
With that obviously comes a lot of hate, a lot of jealousy, and a lot of people who want to take you down. And
I understand. We're gonna watch it all.
A lot of stuff's been thrown at me obviously over the last few years, and here I am right here. Took it on the chin, got right back up, and came back stronger. Gotta watch out for people like that. Those are called God's people. People that just take everything that life has to offer and get ridiculed and turmoiled and beat down, and then they just pop right back up. Of course. Gotta watch out for those people. So hopefully you're those people. Anyway, why don't you guys tell me where you are from? I'll do that, and we'll get into some good stuff. Maybe we'll have a little bit of time for questions after live tonight too. We'll see how late it gets. I do have a couple things going on later tonight that I have to tend to, so we'll see. Tell me where you guys are from. Cornville, Arizona. Wow.
Could you make a program that I have one, right? My program, well, it doesn't work with Rumble because I don't have Rumble API access. Well, I do, but I haven't written anything for it. I have a program that is a culmination of all my platforms. So right now there's close to like 200 people watching plus Rumble. Rumble's got 70 on it, 68, 70. That adds all my viewership together. Now, it pulls it directly from the API. The same thing Phil fumbled his way through trying to explain his special program where he can see his viewers, right? Mine pulls straight from the API. The difference is, whatever I tell you the viewership is, you go look and see the viewership. There were people that tried to say I was botting my channel, right? Because the way that Twitch uploads views, those views get verified, and it takes time before they put them on replays of videos. But their claim that I was botting my channel was, like on Twitch right now, I have 71 viewers. They were trying to claim that when the video was posted that I only had 5 viewers or 10 or 20. Like, you can't have less than what your live viewers are. But what you will never see, ever, is use, like, this API tells me I have 1,000 viewers. And I'm like, oh, well, you can only see the 70-some because they've got accounts. It's not how that works. It's never how that works. Why would it even benefit a company? Why would it even benefit a company to not show the maximum amount? If they have that information, which is Phil's claiming, he's claiming he gets that from the API from Rumble or from DLive or from Facebook or whatever, right? Why would a company not put that on the page? They want people to think that more people are the most amount of people are watching. Why wouldn't they put that down as what we can see? Right? The only argument he could have here is that, like, Rumble doesn't know how many people are watching because they only know the people with accounts. Well, then where are you getting the information from? You don't run Rumble. You're not the owner of Rumble. Right? The only place you get the information from is the API, which you get from the platform. So it would benefit Rumble, if he's getting 30 million views or not, it would benefit Rumble to put 30 million down there at the bottom of the screen instead of fucking 20,000 or whatever it is. But Phil claims they don't, but they send it to him secretly through his API.
Probably corn there, I guess. Vancouver, Michigan, Uber.
Which, if you've ever heard him explain the black web or the dark web, you know he has no idea what he's talking about. I have a tech friend who designed a computer that only goes to the dark web, and I keep it off-site.
Scape? What's that say? Scape? Poos? Scape? Poo? Scappoose? Scappoose? Scappoose, Oregon. Wow, that's a name. That could go a lot of wrong ways. Inglewood.
when I called Phil out during the interview, when I called him out on the amount of money he made from Twitch, when I was like, why did you tell people that you got 100% of the revenue from Twitch subscribers? He's like, oh, I was talking about the Prime subscriptions, where if you have a Prime account, you get a free subscription on Twitch, which you can. If you're watching this from Twitch and you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free subscription on Twitch, so you don't have to see commercials. But he's like, oh, I get 100% of that. And I'm like, no, you don't. Oh, you don't? I could probably call somebody for you, Will. If you're not getting, I could probably call somebody and get that fixed. Or you should talk to him. I have talked to him. Nobody gets 100% ever.
He's up to no good. California. Wow, Shaver Time, Northeast Pennsylvania. That is right Illinois, I think. Missoula, Montana. Radis, Elko, Pennsylvania. Augusta, Georgia. Somebody just asked, do we have any Phil fans in Augusta, Georgia? St. Henry, Ohio. Pittsburgh.
I have seen the stuff where Phil not paying his taxes or whatever. I'm pretty sure he's on a payment plan to get caught up.
South Jersey. United Kingdom. Galveston, Texas. Australia, mate. New Boston, New Hampshire. And he's just like, I would call it Philville, obviously. So, appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you guys with the patience that you've had too over the last week or so with the muzzling. By
patience, he means all my mods ban any negative talk about me not going live, and then I shut the chat down. That's what he means by patience.
Phil, you know why? Let me tell you why they do that. Because, and I guess this is the case like in every area of my life. When I get a piece of information that I know is interesting, or
as soon as Phil signed up for Twitch, the first thing I said is he won't last. No way. They're going to ban that. Right? Twitch is more restricted than like YouTube and other platforms. About the things you say and what you can and can't say. Twitch is on a big inclusivity kick. They lean further left than most of the other platforms. Like, there's no way Phil would have lasted. And he told people that he knew somebody there, and they were getting a special deal to where he got all the revenue from his subscribers. Don't worry about your money going to cabal. I get it all.
I'm very interested in it, or whatever. I like really want to talk about it, and like I just it's hard now. I'm good at keeping secrets. So I can take this information that I'm getting from my sources and talk about it indirectly to let you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you get it, some of you won't. Some of you will see what I was talking about as the comms get decoded. But I really want to talk about that thing instantly as soon as I get it. So I'll get that information and I'll schedule a live, right? That's what I do. And I do that as soon as I get the information. And then I think what they do is...
Here's a question. So the guy who gives him the information, is the same guy that tells him whether he can go live or not. Why wouldn't he just say, I'm giving you this information, but you need to hold it until the 15th? But instead, what Phil claims is he gives him the information. Phil's like, okay, I'm going to go live. The guy's like, okay. And then right before Phil's going to go live, he's like, no, you can't. You can't. Sorry, panic. Abort.
They see, oh, he's going to talk about it already. I think they cancel it. They like shut me up. Because what happens is after I get that information and a few days pass, I'm more realizing how important that information actually is. And I start putting up speed bumps for myself so that I don't slip and say things that I shouldn't say. So I think they like that window of calm down, Phil, instead of the aggressive, anxious, anticipatory Phil where he just wants to take it and blat it up. So I think they like waiting.
Why wouldn't they just say you could, like, this is not how anything operates within the intelligence community. You know exactly what you can and can't say. You know what is above the board, what's going to go out, what's good for press, what's good for the public. You know who you can say stuff to. What you know everything about it the moment you get it. It's not, hey, let's give him all this information, and then let's give him 3 or 4 days to calm down and decide what he can say and can't say. That makes sense.
I think. I don't know. No one's ever actually told me that, but knowing myself, that's what I would do. So, why is the Biden press conference delayed? Because they knew I was on. Do you think that was it? No, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I want to explain what happened the other night on Telegram. For those of you that aren't on Telegram, boy, you really got to get there, by the way. That's where a lot of good stuff happened. So if you were on my Telegram channel a couple nights ago, you would have seen a bunch of just random, what seemed to be random words, phrases.
That was an operation he was doing.
Perceived to be comms, which are coded information that's being sent from one person or entity to another. A lot of people thought that what they were seeing were exactly that. All my audience on Telegram thought that's what they were seeing. In fact, I think it was like 8 hours long. Started at like 3 or 4 p.m. on the East, and I didn't get done until after midnight. So a lot of people that were viewing it, it kind of ran right through when my live stream was complete. So I was like, where are you? Honestly, I completely lost track of time while I was doing it, and it had to be done. It needed to be done in that moment, and there couldn't be any interruptions on my channel in terms of an announcement why the live is canceled, because all of that had to go in a sequential order. I couldn't like put up a random post canceling the live because it would have, I can't explain why, but it would have messed something up. In other words, the other thing that you guys don't know is that simultaneously, while that was happening on my channel, there were six or seven other platforms that I was doing the same thing on, but different words and phrases and comms.
Comms.
Telegram was just one. You can't do that stuff.
That's just all encompassing comms
on just one platform.
You guys remember when he didn't know what a .onion website is? And he's like, .on, I-O-N, that's a secret. This is where we go to the dark web wiki, and this is where we drop our comms. He didn't know it was a dark website. So if you go to the dark web wiki, the hidden wiki, if you go to the hidden wiki, it has a thing for like, I'll show it to you right now. It has a thing for like new links that are out, right? And he's like, oh, you see this? You know, what could SA stand for? Saudi Arabia. And this .onion, everybody knows it's supposed to be .com. .onion is there to tell you that it's on information only for us because it's a com. What? What? These are just, if you have the Tor browser, if you know how to access the dark web, I don't advise people just go in there and fuck around, right? But if you have the Tor browser and know how, these are just websites you put in. I asked Phil about this. I said, you know how you go to a regular website, it's a .com. If you go to, what would a website look like from, you know, the dark web? And what did he respond with? Well, it just depends. I got a machine that only, my tech buddy set up a machine that only goes to the dark web. These are just websites. You just put these in. So Google is a indexing platform. What Google does on the regular internet, where you go to Google and type in bicycles, and it brings up bicycle websites. It's indexing those websites. It's taking what you want. It's searching its database, because it goes around and just crawls the web and builds a database and says, okay, here's the bicycle websites. There's not something like that for the dark web, right? Not all the sites are indexed. Now, there are wikis that are put together, and there's site lists that are put together that you can go to, right? And that's what these are. So you have to have this URL. You can't just go to Google and search. Like, I want to go to Pug's Ultimate Dark Web Guide on Google on the Tor browser. It won't work. Phil doesn't know that. Phil just makes shit up. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, because if anybody's watching it, they'll be able to figure out what we're talking about. So we used like 6 or 7 the other night, and it was for a really important reason, which I think you'll be hearing about very soon.
They killed
His programming got hacked, and they are trying to get the droid back online. It's funny. You know, it's funny. He actually is a real person. The character that represents Joe Biden. It's not a robot or lizard or anything like that. He's just a real person. He's just an actor, body double. That's all he is. Obviously not a good one. I mean, you can see for yourself. I mean, he'd be a D-list actor if anything. I think they could have got somebody else. But then again, they would have somebody else that looked, you know, like Biden. And
wait, isn't he supposed to do all these things? So is it that he's not a good actor, or that he's an amazing actor who's supposed to be making Biden look silly, so the world wakes up to the fact that Joe Biden's been dead since 2018? Which one is it now, Phil? We can't change it. I thought he was like the world's best actor. Wasn't that one of the claims? That he has to be an amazing actor to look like this, to act like this, to be like this.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a couple pieces of information tonight that I want to discuss. One of them is going to be Project 25, which you guys have probably heard of by now, but I'm going to give you a little bit more information on it that you probably don't know. Another deals with Biden possibly being replaced. Please give a shout out for the Flynn movie on Amazon Prime. It's the best movie documentary I've ever seen, other than V for Vendetta. Should be mandatory viewing for Anons. I didn't see the Flynn movie. I kind of lived it. So, but I do hear it's very good. Anyway, we're going to talk about Project 25, Agenda 25, it's also known as. We're also going to talk about Biden and him potentially being...
What is he talking about? Project 25, it's also known as Agenda 25. Is he just making shit up now? It's known as Project 2025. It's just not Project 25. That's not it.
Replaced. And why there's a problem with that. So we're going to talk about all those things today. So first we're going to talk about Project 25. Usually I put some stuff on the screen and go through. I don't want to do that tonight. I just kind of want to talk, you know, verbally and just spill out what I know and what has happened here. So a lot of people don't know this, but Project 25 was actually written back in 2023. It's old. It's not something that just came out. It's just something that resurfaced. And I'm going to tell you why it resurfaced after I tell you what it is. In a nutshell, Project 25 is a roughly 1,000-page document. I think it's a 900-page document that outlines a very strong, strict, conservative agenda for whoever the next president of the United States is. That is either a Republican or a conservative, presumably, of course, Donald Trump. So 2025 references the start of a new administration should there be an election in November. Obviously, the inauguration would be in.
He could have done a little bit better homework and just said 2025. He just said it there.
January of 2025. So that's what it encompasses. Now, there's several problems with that. First of all of the information that I have as of right now, and it's recent information, there is not going to be an election in November of 2024. That's recent. That's just from this week. I know I've said that for 4 years now, so I'm really just reconfirming what I've said in the past, but this is recent intel. This isn't stuff that,
Well, you're not just reconfirming. You said that this election would be halted, basically from the day that Biden took office, that everything was going to be halted and there wouldn't be an election. So you're not reconfirming, you're kicking it down the road, right? You're pushing it further and further and further and further and further and further down the road for 4 years, not reconfirming. You didn't come out as soon as Biden took office and said, okay, Biden's inaugurated, that we're going to get real close to the 2024 election, but there's not going to be one.
Is left over from other things that I've said in the past. I still do not anticipate an election in 2024. I think all of this is simply for show, just like we've talked about for many months and many years. And there's going to be a different way to install the next president of the United States. Now, Project 25 was kind of stolen, so to speak. As I've been telling you guys, the last 4 years since the election fraud of 2020 has been about one thing and one thing only. Decapitate the cabal. Because if the cabal exists after all of this mess that we've been through, it don't matter who president is in 2024 or 25 or 26 or 36 or 46. It makes no difference. If we somehow, after all of this, after the COVID scam, after the decimation of small businesses and how much that's affected our nation, all of the inflation, the vaccines, after all of that, if we don't come out with a cabal that's laying flat on their face, we're doomed. We're screwed. We don't have another shot at this. This is it. This is the shot. It has to be done. So, somebody said Biden is on. Great. Now, if you want to go watch him over me, I totally understand. He found the stage? Excellent. So, over the last 4 years that uprooting and decapitation has been happening for the cabal and the deep state, there's been some stuff that's been leaked or, as I said before, stolen. And one of those things was the agenda or the administrative plan that was written up or at least spoke about and talked about amongst Donald Trump's next administration. There is no doubting, I even think in Democrats' minds after the recent debate in the last couple months, but there's no doubting that Donald Trump is going to be president of the United States and very soon, whether that be tomorrow or in January of 25, like Agenda 25, Project 25 had originally stated. So pieces of Trump's vision, and I shouldn't say Trump because it's really a military plan. Project 25 is a military plan. It's not one candidate writing up a 900 or 1,000-page agenda and putting it through. This is there's nothing that is going to stop the military from protecting our Constitution ever. So what Project 2025 entails is a plan to do exactly that. It's not Trump's plan. It's not the Republicans' plan. It's not even a conservative plan. This is a plan to rid the world of the evil that has encompassed it for a very long time now. So some highlights of Project 2025. Some of these may sound a little familiar to you. Number one, a complete restructuring of government. That's not familiar? Because that's what I've been talking about for 4 years. All of government needs to just completely be restructured from the ground up. You can't have anybody that's currently been elected or around the lobbyist or that has received payment from, you always see these stats about net worths going skyrocketing, right? Before they got in office versus after they got in office. Well, that's because they're being bought out. And that's unconstitutional. I mean, that's treason. That's borderline treason. And all of it needs to be just completely wiped out and we need to start over. I don't think that there's even going to be, there's probably still going to be 3 branches of government, but the numbers, how many people are in those branches currently? And I'm not talking about the Supreme Court. I think the Supreme Court is probably going to be relatively the same. But as far as the House of Representatives and the Senate goes, I don't see those numbers getting anywhere near what they are now in terms of the amount of congressmen. So that's kind of.
So basically, Phil's going to say that Donald Trump coming out and disavowing Project 2025 is fake. It's not true.
One of the big things. Another big thing is a vast expansion of presidential powers. Right now, through executive order, the president is allowed to do numerous things. But there's a lot of things that he can't do. And you can't, for example, circumvent.
Yeah, let's just watch it. Okay? I get it. Other people have already seen it. Let's just watch it for a while.
I'm a little bit drunk. I'm a little bit drunk.
Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Red Pill Girlfriend. Thank you.
I'm a little bit drunk. I'm a little bit drunk. Because I'm drinking.
It's a secret military plan. It's a secret military plan, guys. It's not literally just posted on the Heritage Foundation Project 2025 website. Okay? It's secret.
the three branches of government just because one guy that's elected president says so. Bills have to go through the House, have to go through the Senate, have to be approved or vetoed by the president.
He was right about being written in 2023. I think it was written in like April or March of 2023 is what we read the other night.
Once that process happens, what Project 25 talks about is expanding the presidential authority.
Early 2023. It might have been January, February. I don't know.
Circumvent those things and many other things, not just those. I'm not going to get into every single detail of Project 25 or Agenda 25, but that's pretty much what it is. There's one guy that's elected president says so. Bills have to go through the House, have to go through the Senate, have to be approved or, for example, circumvent the three branches of government. There's a vast expansion of presidential powers right now through executive anywhere near what they are now.
We don't want Project 25 is not real. It's Project 2025. That's not even the name of it. And Trump 100% has to do with it, and his administration. He only came out and said he didn't have anything to do with it after they got a bunch of bad press for the leader of the Heritage Foundation saying that this is the Second American Revolution and it'll be bloodless if the left will let it. Anyways, we don't want the president to have... The founding fathers set this up. We don't want the president to have unchecked power. We don't want that. Who the fuck wants it?
It's probably going to be relatively the same. But as far as the House of Representatives and the Senate goes, I don't see those numbers getting anywhere near what they are now in terms of the amount of congressmen. So that's kind of one of the big things. Another big thing is a vast expansion of presidential powers. Right now, through executive order, the president is allowed to do numerous things. But there's a lot.
He does. He does have an Agenda 47, which is just his platform laid out. That's something that his policymakers or whatever have put together. Agenda 47. I think that's the term they're using. But yeah, it's just basically his platform. Here's what you have to do, okay? There's no way to know specifically if Trump is involved with Project 2025, okay? He says he isn't, but he lies. And he only said this after the bad press, okay? Even though it's been a topic for a while. His former chief of staff, his operations manager, one of his current campaign aides is in one of their videos that's still live right now on their YouTube channel. Let's say 30 people from his former and current, of his former administration or his current campaign people, over 30 of them are working with the Heritage Foundation. So we either have to believe what he said, that he had no idea it even existed, he just heard about it a couple of days ago, and he hates it. Or that he's had 30 people from either his former administration and currently working on his campaign, working with them, and they've all said they've been in contact and talking back and forth, and that's true. It's much more likely, orders of magnitude more likely, that he knew about it, that he's got people working on it, that he's working with them, and he's trying to use that without publicly coming out and saying, I'm attached to it. He's trying to use that to get a more conservative voters. Because when Trump first left office, there was a bunch of further right people that were dissatisfied when he lost, saying that he didn't stand up for the white man. He didn't help them out, that he was more concerned about immigrants and this and that, whatever. He didn't lock up Hillary. They were very, very disenfranchised about that. So he wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to say, I don't know nothing about that, but, that's not my idea. I wish them well, but I had no idea what it was. But he also wants people in the back of their head to think, oh, yeah, he just can't come out and say he's with them because they got some bad press. But, yeah, he's going to do this.
A lot of things that he can't do. And you can't, for example, circumvent the three branches of government just because one guy that's elected president says so. Bills have to go through the House, have to go through the Senate, have to be approved or vetoed by the president once that process happens. What Project 25 talks about is expanding the presidential authority to circumvent those things and many other things, not just those. I'm not going to get into every single detail of Project 25.
Phil forgot to research it. He doesn't even know that Trump fucking denounced it.
Or Agenda 25, but that's pretty much what it is. It is to summarize it, it is a assurance that the political mess that we're in never is allowed to happen again. So this project...
This is a horrible idea. You know what happens when you give one person all the power? Nothing ever good, right? If one person has all the power and they can't be checked or stopped or slowed down by someone else, then only people who want to have all the power pursue that opportunity. They'll do by any means necessary to get in that position, and then they become authoritarian pieces of shit. It's not good.
That this plan, this agenda, has been in the works for the last 4 years. This isn't something that just popped up overnight in 2023 and, whatever. I know they have a website, and I know they list 3 different people. That's all just, smoke and mirrors. That's not where this came from. This came from Trump and his administration and his military, his trusted military group that has been basically running the country for the last 4 years.
Trump, his administration, and the military came out with Project 25.
One other thing that's in there, and you got to dig deep to find it, but it's in there. Now,
I don't know how. So it's a tale as old as time. I know that saying's kind of wore out, but any country that has a position open for a full-blown authoritarian, one person's in charge, someone evil always gets in there. You could go all the way back to fucking the fucking kings. Someone evil always gets in there and does evil shit. Look at all the countries that don't have any checks and balances in place, or have the facade that they have checks and balances, but they the Congress or whatever they call it really has no power. It's always somebody shitty gets in there and does shitty things.
Honestly, I didn't read through all the 900 pages, but I can tell you another thing that is in there. When this reorganization of government happens, there is going to be a presidential power and the ability to go back and retry or reopen.
Some high-end second lieutenant. Generals and second lieutenants are at the top of this plan, guys.
A certain investigation into certain things on past politicians, including presidents. So we've all seen many, many different stories about Hillary, about Biden, Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, anybody. The guy who was sleeping with the Stalwell, I think his name was, or whatever. The guy who was sleeping with the Chinese spy. There's going to be a lot of... Listen to this one. This is from Beverly Trout, everybody. Beverly Trout.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He's going to try to make her look... He doesn't know. He was too busy on vacations and Disney cruises and driving his cars around and stacking his silver. He doesn't... I can already tell what he's going to say. He doesn't know that Trump came out and said, I have nothing to do with that.
You guys know her? Me either. Trump, thankfully, has already repudiated Project 25. It's got some lousy items. It has been created to discredit Trump, to make him seem to be a dictator. Well, what was her name again? I already forgot it, thankfully. Beverly. Beverly, that's just false, what you just said.
Phil, bro. If you just type in, this is all he had to do. We'll do it live. Trump Project 2025. You just Google those 3 words. 2 words and a number. Trump caught cheering extremist project he says he knows nothing about. What to know about Trump's ties to Project 2025. Close allies as he denies a link to it. Trump claims to not know who's behind Project 2025. It seems like Project 2025 is everywhere, but what is it? Project 2025 would overhaul the U.S. tax system. Here's how it could impact you. Trump's right-hand guy, the man behind Project 2025 and the MAGA dating app. There is a MAGA dating app, by the way, too. That's a whole separate story. Project 2025, a wish list for the Trump presidency explained. Trump claims not to know who is behind Project 2025. Trump disavows Project 2025, but he has a long-standing Project 2025, a wish list for Trump's presidency explained. Project 2025, that's actually project2025.org is the actual website. About page, Project 2025, Joe Biden's website. Trump disavows Project 2025 beating shrinkflation. No, Phil, bro. Beverly, you dumb bitch. Apparently you know better than I do.
Dictator. Well, what was her name again? I already forgot it, thankfully. Beverly. Beverly, that's just false, what you just said. That's what you read somewhere. And yes, of course, Trump said, it's not me, I have nothing to do with it, because it wasn't supposed to leak out. So I understand that the media...
It wasn't supposed to leak out. What do you mean it wasn't supposed to leak out? It's been published since 2023 on their own website. It was published in April 2023. The Heritage Foundation published a 920-page mandate written by hundreds of conservatives, most prominently former Trump administration officials. It was, even back in 2023, people were talking about it. It's just now making headlines because we're getting so close. We're getting so close to the fucking election. What do you mean it wasn't supposed to leak out?
Is going to take hold. Said, it's not me, I have nothing to do with it, because it wasn't supposed to leak out. So I understand that the media is going to take hold of it. That's why it leaked in the first place.
It's a, you know, it's hard to fucking take care of all these leaks when the actual foundation that wrote the piece is publishing it on their website, you know. We got a leaker.
Was to make it seem like, oh boy, here comes Trump, can't vote him. No, that's not it. What has to happen is what's written in Project 25. It has to happen.
Okay.
So
it's not Project 25.
When you say something like, well, thankfully Trump distanced himself from it, where's your mind at when you say that? Like, I'm actually asking a legitimate question. When you say that we shouldn't expand presidential power, we shouldn't eliminate the current structure of government, we shouldn't do all the other various things that are within Project 2025, what do you want? More of the same?
I do believe it's a scary crescendo that we've come to since 2016, or since before that, I guess 2015. In 2014, if you would have asked even hardcore Republicans, hey, do you think it'd be a good idea to elect a Republican, a conservative, and give him the fucking keys to the House and tell him to do whatever the fuck he wants? He's got all the power. Get rid of Congress. Only put in people that support him. Even in government jobs like IRS agents and FBI agents and shit, they should all be conservative. They should all support. I would guarantee you they would have said no. Most of them would have said no. Most of them would have said no. Like, no, we were founded on checks and balances. You know, there has to be some type of check because some evil person. But it's turned into a worship. I called someone out on that the other night. They're like, yeah, I like your show, but you got to stop talking so much about Trump. No, fuck you. If someone is doing something wrong, in my eyes, as I believe, I'm talking about it. I'm fucking talking about it. If you don't want people to talk about the person you like when they think they've done something wrong, that's called worship, right? You don't want me talking about your God when I think he's done something wrong. That's called worship. Everybody, when they do something wrong, whether you like them or not, you should be allowed to talk about them. If you think somebody's done something wrong, you should be allowed. If you think I've done something wrong, you should be allowed to talk about it. I might talk back and say, no, I haven't, this, that, the other, whatever. But I should never be able to come to you and be like, hey, that thing I did, stop talking about it so much.
Just leave everything how it is because everything's just so great right now, right? By no means will the United States turn into a dictatorship. That's not going to happen. That's not the goal. But what you need to do is you need to rip out by the root the cabal that is completely infested and permanently installed in the roots of our democracy, in the roots of our republic. And we're talking dozens of years, centuries perhaps. I don't really, when somebody makes a statement like that, oh, well, thank God, you know, Trump.
I really wouldn't mind if someone went in and is like, okay, all the Congress people, all the House of Representatives, everybody's fired. We're having new elections. And if you've served, you can't serve again. Cool. But that's not what this is.
Distance himself from that.
That's not possible. And that's not what this is.
It's just, it's ridiculous. It's really a ridiculous statement to say that. That is exactly what the country needs. And I'm sorry, if you're a little sensitive and you're not ready for a complete overhaul of the United States government and world governments, as well as central banks worldwide, the Federal Reserve, all of the other central banks. If you're not ready for that, you better hibernate, because the next several years are certainly not going to be for you. If you think a president needs to be presidential and he needs to say the right things and we have to follow the three branches of government and we have to follow the laws of the land, guess what?
Yeah, bud, that's the way our country, that's how we founded the country. They always like to talk back and say, this isn't what the founding fathers wanted. This isn't, you think this is what well, this is definitely not what they wanted. This goes against everything that they put in place.
If the founding, now I'm fired up. If
they ran from a king. You understand what a king is, right? And at different times, the king had a parliament. It was just his power was divine by God, and it was ultimate. So the parliament could want one thing, and the king could do the opposite, and no one could touch him. Divine rights and births and shit like that.
If the founding fathers of the United States were alive today to see what's happening in our government, they would overthrow the government. Undoubtedly. We do not live in a country that is free. You think you're free. They would overthrow. If the founding fired up the right things and we have to follow the three branches of government and we have to follow the laws of the land, guess what? If the founding fired up, if the founding fathers of the United States were alive today to see what's happening in our government, they would overthrow the government. Undoubtedly. We do not live in a country that is free. You think you're free because the media gives you the illusion that you're free. You're not free. You are actually a slave. You're a slave to your job. You're a slave to taxation. You're a slave to your.
If having a job and making money is slavery, how do you get away from that? There's no system that doesn't have people having jobs, bro.
You don't own anything. You have debt on everything. And even if you don't have debt on things, they're going to try to seize it, or they're going to try to put a lien on it. They're going to try to somehow throw you in jail because you didn't pay the certain amount of tax that they want.
I honestly think the founding fathers, if the founding fathers are brought back now, I think they would be amazed that a system they've put in place has done so much. They might be upset with like, oh, this is corrupt and we never intended that, sure. But I think after they got the hang of stuff, like electricity, they would be amazed that a system they put in place, that a basic framework has grown into what it is, and at least there's an attempt to have checks on power and corruption. Still.
It's a joke.
They were used to having kings.
So don't say that it's a good thing that Trump distanced himself from this plan. That shows me that you didn't read it. And if you didn't read it, don't say, thankfully, Trump disassociated with it, because you don't even know what it says. Where are we? Like, what is this? Now, I apologize, Beverly. You may be a new follower. You may be new to me. You may never have heard a lot of the things that I've said in the past, but for crying out loud.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what they want. So if you're a slave to your job, we have to fix this system. Everybody becomes a Melaleuca salesman. That's still a job. Everybody goes back to hunter and gather, or even farmers. That's still that's arguably a harder job than probably the one you've got now. Or like we just invent like a fucking team of robots that does everything. Because even with like Nasara Gassara, how does manufacturing work? What if I want to buy something? Who's going to make it?
Are we just gonna be okay with how the system has been for the last decades? We're just gonna be like, oh yeah, Trump's back in office. Woohoo! Who gives a shit? Who cares if he's back in office? That means nothing. Nothing. The problem that humanity has right now is not who the president of the United States is. It's not even who the president of the United States isn't. The problem that we have...
Yeah, he's worked up because someone called him out. I don't even think he knew that Trump had come out and said, I don't know what that is. I have no idea about it. It's not me.
There is a world order that calls the shots for every human being worldwide. They decide who's rich. They decide who's poor. They decide what information you see and hear, acknowledge, interpret.
But if there's a world order above the president and above Congress and above like this deep state cabal, what does giving one man all the power do other than the cabal just influencing him? Right? Nobody's perfect and not susceptible to corruption. You want to know what's disgusting? Phil's video from tonight, whenever I refreshed his page last, right after his video, right before I went live, has already made Phil $1,500. Thank God you're watching it with me and not watching it separately. You need to quit watching his shit.
Digest, reject. They create racism. They create homophobia. They create religious wars. They make countries hate countries. They make people hate people. They pull the strings on everything. It needs to be uprooted, period. And honestly, if you don't agree with me, I don't know why you're watching me. Because I completely have had enough of this bullshit.
Oh no. He might cry. He said bullshit. He might cry. He's been trying to turn over another leaf. He's got a Jesus chain now. What would Phildo do?
There's a man. This man worked in several departments of...
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Don't do it, Edward. Don't break out your life story just because you said the word shit.
3-letter agencies. I shouldn't really say he was a man because he was really a kid. And this is what they do. This is what the world order does to make sure your mind is fresh. They hire kids. Some of the most important minds that have ever been in charge of anything important in the United States have been kids. You know
Wrong.
how old the founding fathers were when they wrote the Constitution? They're in their 20s. Now we have presidents nowadays.
Wait a second. That's not right. How many signers of the Constitution were in their 20s? How many signers of the Declaration of Independence were in their 20s? There's 2 from the Declaration of Independence. He said Constitution, though. How many signers of the Constitution were in their 20s? Three. There were 3. The average age of the signer of the Constitution was 45. The youngest, Dayton, at 26, was one of 3 men in their 20s. The others being Spate and Charles Pickney. 11 were in their 30s. 13 were in their 40s. 8 were in their 50s. Jennifer Livingston and Sherman were in their 60s. And Franklin was in his 80s. What do you mean when they wrote the Constitution, they were in their 20s? The CIA does like to recruit young. A lot of times, that's because you're getting healthy adults that could be in the job for a long time and they're fresh out of school. They still know what they're doing because they went and studied something. But they come in at low job. They don't come in as like the fucking head of fucking Middle Eastern relations.
That have ever been in charge of anything important in the United States have been kids. You know how old the founding fathers were when they wrote the Constitution? They're in their 20s.
Wrong.
Now we have presidents nowadays that are 70. Look at Biden. This Biden guy. He looks like he's 100 years old.
They're the same age, you fucking retard. There's a couple years that separate them. You can't be like, look at this Biden guy in his 70s. That's an argument for both of them. They're 78 and 81, right? They're 3 years apart. Best 3 years of his life.
Even Trump, when he gets back in office, he's 70s and 80s by the time he gets out. So the 3-letter agencies go after young minds and corrupt those young minds. They try to take the smartest ones too, the ones that excel in their education. There was a kid that...
Oh, the boy who became a man at CIA summer camp.
Got into those agencies and did a great amount of work to make sure our country and the citizens of the United States, and moreover, the citizens of the world.
He heard about 9/11 at the farm, but also at Langley in the cafeteria. Phil wouldn't know this. I guarantee you Phil wouldn't know this. Because I've heard his story before. The farm is not in Langley, Virginia. Phil thinks it is. Phil thinks he was in Langley. Phil thinks he was in Langley at the cafeteria during CIA summer camp, at the farm also, both of them, and overheard 9/11. It's over 2.5 hours away. The CIA, the farm, is at Camp Perry in Virginia, outside of Newport News, over 2.5 hours away from Langley. But Phil is at both places at the same time at the cafeteria overhearing 9/11. All while asking, mayo? You want any sauces? What about some olives? Peppers?
He did so much work to make sure
toasted or heated
that those people were safe. And he really thought that the work that he was doing was contributing to that cause, contributing to Americans being safe, Europeans being safe, Canadians being safe. So this kid was talented when it came to a certain particular set of skills. And he was able to see things differently than even the smartest minds that were associates of his in these agencies.
He was the smartest of the smartest. There was no one smarter.
Able to see. He was able to see it a little different, put it together a little different package it a little bit different so that it had the maximum effect possible, because he was always concerned about his future family living in fear of terror.
So as a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, he was worried about his future family, divorced, 2 Christmases with the kids, remarried to some bitch showing her titties on a boat. He was always worried about Carrie living in fear.
Terrorists, fear of war, fear of invasion. So a lot of these...
Yeah, I know. I want to hate them both so bad, Nick and Phil.
Tasks and a lot of these projects that this boy did, he did so thinking that he was working and doing a service for his country, to protect his country, and as I said, more so than just United States citizens around the world.
He was worried about his future family.
Until that one day when the boy realized what he had invented and what he had put together that no one else seemed to be able to put together. And it was arbitrary for him. It was easy. But no one else seemed to grasp that task for some reason. I still makes me wonder this day. But nonetheless, he was credited with all these great things, that he had done for these agencies and his country. Until that one day when he realized that his work was being used against the people that he thought it was going to be used to protect.
Yeah, Langley is where it's at because it's proximity to Washington, right? It's proximity to fucking D.C. Camp Perry's down near if you know anything about Virginia, it's near Newport News. Off the, I guess that's the York River. To the north of it, and the James River to the south. Williamsburg's around that area.
Instead of being used against terrorists that seek to bring harm to our country, or spies, from other countries that seek to disrupt our electric grid or our banking system or our stock market or a numerous amount of things, the government was actually using his technology against America and against the good guys.
Remember, Phil was only there for like a couple months before he had to quit because 9/11.
So they got mad.
And his mom doesn't recall this time in his life at all. His dad thinks, maybe. His mom doesn't recall it at all. Phil would just disappear and go to CIA summer camp for extended amounts of time, and his mom had no idea.
Kid got mad. It was probably needed those few days that I mentioned earlier in the show to really, probably needed to talk to some people. But it was anxious, aggressive, and just wanted it to stop. So the kid took his inventions and his technology, and knowing that he couldn't trust anyone within government because he was at the highest level of security that there was in government, he gave it out to the media. And you got to watch with the media too, because even he knew back then, more than we know now, that the media was corrupt and that they would probably turn him over if they made it.
Sounds silly. If the media is this all corrupt machine, I wonder why Edward Snowden would have handed this over to the media. Wouldn't if he had just written an amazing genius level program to disseminate it to the entire world? So even his retelling of the Edward Snowden story is not, I don't think that's true, right? So Edward Snowden reached out to the media beforehand. So Edward Snowden goes to a Hawaii facility, and while he's at the Hawaii facility, he reaches out. He's at an NSA Hawaii facility. While he's there, he reaches out to a guy from The Guardian. I can't remember the guy's name. He's also a lawyer, and he reaches out to a documentary filmmaker. Then he goes and he's trying to fill this out. Like, there's crazy stuff going on in the government. I think people should know. What should I do? He's trying to fill this out. He's having conversations about it already. Then he goes to Booz Allen Hamilton, which is the contractor at the same facility in Hawaii. So he went from NSA worker for Dell to Booz Allen Hamilton NSA worker, which he gets more access to more things with that. additional access to stuff from that. After that, while he's still working there, he starts sending documents to these people that he already reached out to. And I think maybe another reporter, I can't remember if there's a third reporter or not. He tells his supervisor, hey, I need to take some time off for treatment for, I think told him he had epilepsy and he needed to go have treatment, which he is diagnosed with. But the treatment was a ruse. And while he's on this trip for treatment, or he's on this break for treatment, that's when he tells his girlfriend he's going away for a few weeks. That's when he goes straight to Hong Kong. He meets up with his contacts in Hong Kong after he just walks out of his job. He meets up with his contacts in Hong Kong, and that's when he starts providing documents and shit.
Enough money in doing so. So, very covertly, very carefully, the secrets were leaked to the press. And Edward Snowden became a household name. The whistleblower, the original whistleblower. The one that gave up the secrets against big bad government and the big bad CIA and big bad this and the big bad NSA.
He was still an employee. So on June 9th, I'm just looking at the timeline now. On June 9th, 2013, The Guardian reveals Snowden as a source of all the NSA leaks. But the leaks started on, let's see what it says. Travels to Hong Kong May 20th. June 2nd, meets his contacts in Hong Kong. June 5th, first revelations arising from the documents provided by Snowden are published in The Guardian. June 5th is when they're published. About the NSA's collection of domestic email and telephone metadata from Verizon as part of what is later revealed to be an even broader collection effort. June 6th, The Guardian and The Washington Post each published an article about an NSA program named PRISM, which forces biggest U.S. internet companies to hand over data on domestic users. June 8th, The Guardian publishes NSA slides on Boundless Informant, which shows NSA collected nearly 3 billion pieces of intelligence inside the U.S. in February 2013 alone. June 9th, The Guardian reveals Edward Snowden as a source of the NSA leaks while he's still in Hong Kong. And then June 11th, so then 2 days later, that's when he's fired. So on June 9th, The Guardian comes out and says, it's Edward Snowden, that's the leaker. June 11th, they're like, I think we're going to have to fire this guy. In a statement, the company says news report that the individual has claimed to have leaked the classified information are shocking, and if accurate, the action represents a grave violation of the code of conduct and core values of our firm. And then on the 14th, another 3 days after that, that's when the U.S. Justice Department charges him. So even his retelling of the Snowden story is all bullshit.
NSA and the big bad that. And you know what it resulted in? Nothing. What changed? After Snowden came out with that bombshell that included government agencies working with cell phone companies to tap into your cell phone to listen to you speak or to tap into the camera.
Wrong. It was metadata. That's not true.
On your television or your pod streaming device. Your pod streaming camera, the camera on your phone.
Your pod streaming device. What the fuck is that? They were collecting metadata. Keywords, metadata, and then once you signal, so like let's say you sent a text, it's still horrible, but what he's saying is inaccurate. Let's say you sent a text that had the word bomb in it, you'll get flagged. Let's say you send a text with the word bomb in it twice in a month, you get flagged, right? And then they start collecting metadata. Who are you sending them to? What is the overall? We want searchable keywords. What are the messages? They were still doing horrible shit with our data and forcing companies like Verizon to cooperate with them and forcing, email providers and internet companies to cooperate with them. But they weren't turning on everybody's cell phone just to fuck around. Like, were they turning on looking through people's camera and recording their calls? Sure. After you tripped a bunch of keywords, a bunch of searches, after red flag after red flag after red flag, yeah, they were doing more than that. But for the vast majority of people, you were probably on a list because you said the wrong word, and they may have looked a little bit deeper into that, but that was it.
Being able to just tap into your computer whenever they wanted, your emails, your text messages, all of it available. All that information was given over to me, and it came out.
Could you imagine if they went through everybody's fucking email, everybody's fucking text messages? They had to have a way to fucking get that down, right? They had to have a way to filter out who they actually wanted. They couldn't go through everybody's text. How long would it take you to go through all your text messages? Like, just open your phone and go through every text message you have. How long would it take you just to read through them? Now, imagine you had to have an employee doing that. You'd have to have an employee. For every person that has a cell phone, you'd have to have 2 employees.
Media. It was reported, widely reported. Who doesn't know Edward Snowden, right? What was done? Nothing. Nothing. It was like a story about the Celtics winning the NBA championship. It was popular for a week, and then you're looking at next season. No one cared. No one cared. The Obama government certainly didn't care.
There's been a lot that's been done since Edward Snowden's leaks. Is it enough? No, it's not. But obviously they've done. It's not nothing.
You didn't change a thing. Just kept on going. People heard it in the news. Oh, you blew the whistle on the government. Ha. Give me a double cheeseburger with extra cheese. No mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise. That's how quick. Like in 1 year, out the other. They didn't even. No one cared. The lengths, the risks that was associated with that revealing of information for that boy, just the boy, were so intense. And he was hoping that it would change the government and how people.
Project 2025 is Nasara, guys.
Saw the government, and it didn't. In fact, in many ways, it made it worse. So when some people sit here and they look at Project 25, Agenda 25, whatever you want to call it, and they say, oh, thank goodness Trump announced that, because that is not.
Those are not things. Project 25, Agenda 25, not things.
Who we are. Who are we then? How? Okay. Everybody wants things to get better, right? There's no one in the world that could say, oh boy, I hope things get worse, right? Anything. It could be your favorite baseball team. The Yankees right now suck. They were the best team in the league about 5 weeks ago. Now they can't win a game. I don't know. And I don't want them to get worse. I want them to get better. So anything in your life, you always want to get better, right? You want your relationships with your siblings or your children or your family or your friends or your colleagues or your boss or whatever it is. You want all that to get better, not worse. If you actually want something to get better, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? Do you think that, like,
not control of the entire U.S. government to one person? Absolutely not. I'm not willing to sacrifice that. There's too much of a chance of someone abusing that power.
Do that and it's better? No, because if it was all day long, it's all you would see. People walk around snapping their fingers and everything would be just great. It don't work that way.
Okay, so it's not a finger snap. Literal. So usually people are using this figuratively. Snap your fingers to figure. But he's using it literally, because you would actually see people walking around going, everything's better. Fucking retard.
You can pray. Praying is very powerful, but does it always have the intended result? Not always. Maybe over time, maybe not quick enough.
He almost stepped in his fucking, or put his foot in his mouth there.
If you think, listen to me, listen close. If you think
Bill is not religious in any way, shape, or form. He was one of his earliest videos, which he still denies this day. He was making fun of people for not believing that we evolved from monkeys.
That within the next day or within the next 6 months, we are going to have
a bunch of backlash, debates, and he backed off.
Presidential and vice presidential debates, campaigning, polls, voting stations, an election, coverage of the election, an inauguration, and a new president. And if all of that happens that way, it ends up being Trump. And let's say Trump gets in office, just hypothetically, of course. Trump gets in office in January. And once that happens, everything is good. Everything's good again. You are delusional. You have not woken up. You are still asleep. This is not. And that, this goes to the people that, oh, well, I need it to happen now. Why hasn't it happened yet? Phil, can you get a message to the White House? Those are the same people that just can't understand, that still don't understand the scope of the operation that's taking place, that has been taking place for 4 years, that's now culminating into conclusion. It's not just placing a new president in office.
It's culminating into conclusion here, guys.
Our governments worldwide, including the royal family, which isn't really a government, but it pretty much is, and including the Vatican, and Big Pharma, the ones that created the vaccines. If you think that one person elected to one office is enough to solve the mess that we're in this world, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to probably go back to the original live that I did on my Rumble channel and just start watching. There's about 300 of them on there. Just start watching them. Because you're just nowhere close. This is such a war. This is a covert, spiritual, for all the marbles war. The winner of this is the ultimate champion for many, or probably centuries. And it doesn't get solved by Donald Trump being elected president.
This sounds so horrible. This sounds like how what he's fucking proposing here sounds like the start to a Hunger Games movie.
We have to correct 2020. We have to release the election.
Guys, we got to put one person in charge because only one person can do that. There's too many moving parts right now. One person knows best.
Fraud. We have to prosecute people for that election fraud. We have to execute people for treason. And we have to do it publicly.
That's right. When it wasn't moving fast enough last time, Phil claimed that he was going to go flip the switch. He was going to take care of it himself. And they know he will.
You gonna sit down with your kids and watch the executions? You should. To say,
are you going to sit down and watch the executions? You should. Get your kids.
You should. You gonna sit down with your kids and watch the executions?
Get your kids. My kid has the Gitmo execution playset. It comes with an Obama and a Hillary, and a guillotine and a hangman's noose.
You should.
Phil takes his kids on Disney cruises, but tells you got to have your kids watch fucking people be hung and executed.
To say that Project 25 is too far reaching or too far right or too far whatever, I completely disagree. This situation that we're in.
Here's how you can ultimately test anything like this. You just present it as the other party. There's been many times I would say, how mad would you be if, you know, the representatives from the Islamic religion were like this, and this. And people were like, fuck that bullshit. Bye. Well, that's what, you know, these Christian advocates are doing. Or imagine if the left fired everybody, fired all the IRS tax workers, everybody that works at the tax office, not the head of it, but the actual employees, everybody, and they hired people that swore that they would always support Biden. People would be like, fuck that. That's so fucked up. It shouldn't matter your political beliefs when you're just getting a job, especially that low level. But as soon as you change it to Project 2025 and Trump, they're like, oh, well, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
This extreme situation that we're in calls for an extreme solution. You don't know how powerful they are. Well, some of you do, but let's just talk about money alone. Okay. At any given time, worldwide, there's a certain amount of currency that's circulating. In banks, credit limits on credit cards, cash, loans, stock market, all of it. They're all together, worldwide, all together. It's about $400 trillion at last count, roughly. Of course, no one's going to be able to track the exact number, but that's what they say. That's the official. Worldwide. That's my money, your money, everyone's money that you could possibly, anyone that has money, that's the total in circulation. Okay? One family has an estimated, it's probably much more than this, an estimated $800 trillion to their name. One family has more money than the rest of the world. All the billionaires, anyone that has money, that's the total. What they say, that's the official. Altogether. It's about $400 trillion at last count, roughly. Of course, no one's going to be able to track the exact number, but that's what they say, that's the official. Worldwide. That's my money, your money, everyone's money that you could possibly, be able to track the exact number, but that's what they say, all together, worldwide, altogether. It's about $400 trillion at last count, roughly. Of course, no one's going to be able to track the exact number, but that's what they say, that's the official.
The global M1 money supply, which includes all money in circulation plus travelers' checks and demand deposits like checking and savings accounts, 48.9 trillion. According to Virtual Capitalist, the world's economy is expected to reach 104 trillion in nominal value by the end of 2023, so these aren't updated. The publication estimated the total value of the M2 money supply to be 82.6 trillion. Referred to as monetary base. Monetary base includes all money in circulation, including money banks hold in reserve. According to the Federal Reserve, that was about 2.3 trillion. M3, it includes all elements of M2, plus institutional money, market funds, and large time deposits. As compared to M1 and M2, M3 assets have the lowest liquidity. The Fed no longer calculates the M3. I don't know where he's getting that number from.
Worldwide. That's my money, your money, everyone's money that you could possibly, anyone that has money, that's the total in circulation. Okay? One family has an estimated, and it's probably much more than this, an estimated $800 trillion to their name. One family has more money than the rest of the world. All the billionaires, all the millionaires, all the trillionaires. Every country combined, one family has more money. How do you think, now, if that family just ended up being evil, first of all, I don't know if there's any way to accumulate that great wealth without being evil, but regardless of that, if that one family turns out to
can't accumulate wealth without being evil. What happened to you, Phil? Where'd you get yours from, buddy?
be evil, and puts a plan together to run based on their wealth because they could do that. All right, for example, this family or one of their representatives came up to you and said, I will give you $1 trillion today, but you need to do one thing for me and one thing only. Vote for Joe Biden. And in addition to that, no one will know that you voted for Biden because we'll make sure that no one knows. You never have to talk about it. You just got to vote for Biden this election. $1 trillion to your name. Would you say no to that?
So you think they're using, would he say they're $100 trillion to make 100 people vote for Joe Biden?
Okay, maybe you would. Now let me put it another way. Same deal. $1 trillion, vote for Joe Biden. No one will know. We'll make sure no one knows. However, if you don't accept our deal, we're going to kill your family. And we're going to make you watch. And then we're going to kill you too. So what's your answer?
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to buy enough votes to change anything.
That's different than the first question, right? Maybe you turn down $1 trillion. It's not all about money. I get that. But you lose your life. You know, watch your kids die. This is what they're capable of. They're capable of anything. Anything. And when I say anything, I don't even mean anything within reason. I mean anything. They can do anything. There's nothing that they can't do. How do you eliminate an entity that has that much financial power, that much influence? They have every government in their pocket. If they want one government to go a certain way, they got money. All they got to do is pay people off. And guess what?
They're going to buy 100 votes, guys.
A lot of you may say no to voting for Biden for that $1 trillion. The majority of people will not. Most of you are awake. Beverly's not, but most of you are.
Beverly's not, because she said Trump disavowed this.
And most of you may decline. Most people, into the 90+% range, they're going to do it. And guess what? If you don't do it, they'll just kill you, and the next person will do it. And then you're not voting anyway, because you're dead. And the next person...
It seems kind of disingenuous to say that you wouldn't vote for Joe Biden and let them kill your entire family. If your answer is no to that question, to just cast one vote for Joe Biden, I don't know that I trust you. I think you're the fucking psycho. Nope, you're going to have to kill my entire family, and I'll watch. Not voting for Joe Biden. They're not asking you to fucking launch nuclear missiles. It's your vote. You get another one in 4 years. Jesus Christ.
Took money, so they're getting what they want anyway. They can do anything they want. How do you get rid of something like that?
I'll write in Joe Biden for life. If it's like, we're going to kill your wife and kids. Okay, I'll write him in. Fuck it. He's not even running. I don't care. Joe Biden.
Just Trump taking office? Anybody that thinks this is so easy.
But this is how they've manipulated themselves to, like, this is the same reason. This is the same reason that you can't discuss anything with these people, right? They literally believe that this is the apocalypse and either Satan or God's going to win, and God picked Trump, and deep state Satan, cabal, baby eaters, tunnel babies, all that shit is Joe Biden. This is what they think. They think they might go to hell forever if they vote one time for Joe Biden. This is the game they've made it into.
And all we got to do is get Trump elected, put him back in office, and all of our problems go away. You're nuts. I'm sorry, you're nuts. Why?
Now, if it was just Mariah, like, that Mariah will disappear forever and you'll never hear from her again. Well, Trump train. But if you're going to involve the kids.
Because there's 3 branches of government, is there not? So you got the executive branch, Congress, and the Supreme Court, right? So Trump gets back in office in January or tomorrow. Who knows? Let's just say it's between tomorrow and January, okay? November comes. And they buy elections again. Oh, and by the way, Trump can't get anything passed in terms of election integrity between January and November because the elections are fixed. Or even if they're not fixed because Trump got in power and we voted legitimately and MAGA, whatever, it's between January and November, there's 10, 11 months. You don't think they're going to fix something before then? So no matter what he wants to do policy-wise, he's never going to get anything through the House. He's never going to get anything through the Senate, even if it got through the House. How many more impeachments is he going to go through? What do we want to see here? We want to see a repeat of 2016, 2020. Yeah, we had the greatest economy. Do we want all that to happen all over again? Yeah, so how do you stop it? You think it's just putting him back in office? No, that solves nothing. So when you look at some...
So remember this. Phil says there's not going to be an election. And if Trump just wins the election, nothing's going to happen. That solves nothing.
Something like Project 25. And there's people out there...
I wish he'd stop saying it wrong. It's really bothering me. I know I keep pointing it out and people are like, let it go. It's really fucking bothering me that he's like Project 25, Agenda 25.
Telling you, oh, it's a very extreme plan. Trump's already denounced it, thankfully. I don't know if you've read it. Trump said that...
It's pretty fucking extreme. Imagine if you worked for like a giant corporation let's say you work for fucking Walmart, right? And you're just a cashier. And old man Walmart dies, and his son Jimbo Walmart takes over the company. And they drive around from store to store and interview every fucking employee at Walmart and ask them if they're going to be loyal to Jimbo Walmart. And if not, you're fired, and they'll replace you with someone that says they will do anything that he asks and always be loyal to him. That's a pretty extreme fucking policy, right? I know his name's Walton. I just thought it was funny to call him Jimbo Walmart. That's a pretty extreme policy. So if we're going to fire IRS agents and bring people in that would declare that they're loyal to the conservative president, it's pretty wild. We're going to fire all the fucking FBI agents, every fucking low level from the bottom to the top, and put people in that are devoted to you, that are supporters of you. That's pretty fucking extreme.
What did he say? I got rid of it. No, I didn't.
Not to mention, it's just a shitty policy. Look, I don't want people that work for me to fucking hate me. Like, obviously, I don't want that. But I've always enjoyed having somebody to be like, hey, you went too far. Hey, you said too much. Hey, you know, this is a bad idea. Or let's talk about it. Or let's think about it. I don't think this is the best. Right?
First quote. In response, the Biden campaign accused Trump and his allies of, quote, dreaming of a violent revolution to destroy the...
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Anything you put in place, just because your guy's doing it now, you have to imagine what could happen if the other guy did it. Right? That's why they love, Trump got to put Supreme Court justices in, and they kind of screwed Obama on that one, getting that one Supreme Court justice in, but then they let Trump do the exact same thing on his way out. But wait until those picks come back up with fucking Democrats. You think they're going to give it back to you?
Very idea of America. Okay, so let's talk. Biden and Biden's camp is denouncing Project 25. So you agree with him? Does that not tell you that maybe... Does that not tell you that maybe it's a good thing if he disagrees with it? With him? Biden.
So it's too extreme for Biden and Trump, but it's exactly what Phil ordered.
And Biden's camp is denouncing Project 25. So you agree with him? Does that not tell you that maybe it's a good thing if he disagrees with it? Trump, I was looking for that Trump quote. Where is it? Oh, here it is. In response to Project 25, Trump has disavowed the document saying, quote, I know nothing about Project 2025.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a Supreme Court justice that was going to need to be appointed while Obama was on his way out, right? He was a lame duck. He had already been, and they're like, oh, no. We're not going to confirm the Supreme Court justice because this president's on his way out. We let the next president pick it. So they let Trump pick it. But then the exact same scenario came out with Trump on his way out. And they're like, well, hey, we shouldn't do this, right? We shouldn't be doing this because Trump's on his way out. We should but Republicans knew it was going to be Joe Biden and not Trump. So they're like, no, we'll push it through. That's what we do. It was the exact same scenario. And it just showed the hypocrisy. So you better expect some extremely, extremely fucking liberal Supreme Court picks when the Democrats get their turn.
I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Well, that's an interesting quote, because let me tell you what I get out of that quote. What I get out of that quote is he disagrees with some of the things. Now, are you a glass half empty?
That's got to be a candle he's using over here. I've never seen, sometimes LED lights will flash if they're not for, filming, right? If you put on camera, they'll flash because they're lit light emitting diodes. They're actually turning on and turning off, especially if they're not at their maximum brightness. And that'll sync up with the frame rate of the camera. But this, he's using a candle, I guess, as a light, as a light. I don't know, it's weird.
You're a glass half full kind of person. I don't know. But that means he agrees with some of the things. If he disagrees with some, he didn't say all, could have. Choose his words very carefully. Remember who you're talking to. So he agrees with some. Which some? Is Project 25, which was written in 2023, is Project 25 a leaked version of Trump's actual agenda once he retakes office? Whatever that may be. Maybe 25, maybe whatever, right? Who cares? That's not the point we're covering right now. But because the reason why I say that, and I pause to make that explanation, is because people hear me say 25 and they're like, oh, I'm out. Same people that said they were out if it didn't happen by the end of 2021, they're out. So regardless, what I'm trying to say is, at some point, Trump's agenda and what he and the military plan to do once he retook office, whenever that may be, was somehow leaked. How? I don't know. Leaks happen all the time. Okay. I just leak in my pants a little bit and I'll lap it a little. It's just normal. I think it is. That's gross. Shouldn't have said that. I'm regretting it. Anyway, I can't rewind time. So here we go. It leaked out. Somebody got a hold of it and added a bunch of shit to it. Some stuff is stupid. Some stuff makes no sense.
Oh, so now they added stuff to it. It leaked and people added stuff to it. Well, that seems kind of silly because didn't you just say, have you not read it? You need to go read it. Well, if it leaked and people add stuff to it, are we supposed to be reading the stupid parts or not?
That's how you know some stupid person got a hold of it and wrote their own thing in there. Because if you, just for example, I'm not going to mention the exact things. If you do point number 1.
I'm not going to mention the exact things. He doesn't know them. He has no idea what's in Project 25. I'm not going to mention the exact same things, but think about like point number 1 and point number 2.
Right, and it's complete and done. Why would you have to do point number 84? Because you already did point 1. It's the same thing. So somebody wrote 84 in there, and 84 sounds terrible. Sounds like it's a really bad thing. But the same thing is accomplished in number 1. So why do 84?
Okay.
It was doctored. So some of the things that are in there are just...
It was doctored from their actual website of the people who wrote it. Makes sense.
Blown out of proportion. And the other thing is, this agenda was written up way before 2023. If this were something that Trump actually wanted to put out there and didn't mean for it to get leaked, it wouldn't have taken that long. This was set up for Trump to be re-sworn in 2021. It was renamed Project 25 by whoever leaked it and whoever doctored it up.
Well, it wasn't named that because that's not the name of it.
And I wasn't the leaker, although I do leak, but not in that way. Anyway, sometimes I just like roasting you guys out because I think it's funny. And a lot of people tell me I'm funny. A lot of people say, Phil, you're a funny guy. You are funny.
I do leak, but not in that way. So this is a document leak. So what way do you leak, Phil? Anal leakage? Sometimes I just like grossing y'all out. What?
Sometimes and I wasn't the leaker, although I do leak, but not in that way. Anyway, sometimes I just like roasting you guys out because I think it's funny. And a lot of people tell me I'm funny. A lot of people say, Phil, you're a funny guy. You are funny.
By the way, Project 2025 is the whole encompassing thing. And that's like the training and the qualified, the pre-qualified hiring pool and shit like that. They're talking about the 180-day playbook that people are upset about. It's a mandate. The 180-day playbook, the 180-day playbook is like the first 180 days. And they published a book called A Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise. There's a bunch of wild ideas in Project 2025. I don't know if, should we read it? It's 900 some pages. I mean, but should we set up and read it at some point? The Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise, Project 2025. It's 922 pages.
And I'm not saying I agree with them, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a lot of people say it. And those people, they don't even know each other. You're a funny guy. You anyway. Sometimes it's 25 by whoever leaked it and whoever doctored it up. And I wasn't the leaker, although I do leak, but not in that way. Anyway.
What the fuck?
It was renamed Project 25 by whoever leaked it and whoever doctored it up. And I wasn't the leaker, although I do leak, but not in that way. Anyway, sometimes I just like roasting you guys out because I think it's funny.
What? So he's like, there was a document leak. I didn't leak this document, but I do leak, but not in the document leak way. I like grossing you guys out. What do you leak, bro? What is the joke? What is the joke? I think he does prepare for his show, not by scrolling Twitter. I think he scrolls his Telegram.
And a lot of people tell me I'm funny. A lot of people say, Phil, you're a funny guy. You are funny. And I'm not saying I agree with them, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a lot of people say it. And those people, they don't even know each other. So it's not, it would have to be this like overwhelming conspiracy that all these people who don't know each other all tell me I'm funny.
Well, you guys believe in QAnon, an overwhelming conspiracy where everybody's working together with the military and the deep state cabals all working together to have tunnel babies and drink their blood. So,
okay.
You're like, this would have too many moving parts for people to believe. That'd be a crazy conspiracy. But also, every world government's tied to conspiracy.
Project 25, Agenda 25, is a version of what the next Trump administration is going to do to rid the country and humanity of the cabal. And it has to be done, and it will be done. Every single point that you see in Project 25, if you really care to read through them all, they're not.
By the way, it's not laid out in point 1.84. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's a book. So it's laid out in sections. So section 1 is called Taking the Reins of Government. It includes the White House, Executive Office of the President of the United States, central personnel agencies managing the bureaucracy. Then section 2 is the Common Defense, Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, Department of State, intelligence community, media agencies. Again, they're even talking about getting rid of journalists who don't like you. Agency for International Development. Section 3 is the general welfare with the Department of Agriculture, Department of Education, Department of Energy and related, Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, Department of the Interior, Department of Justice, Department of Labor, Department of Transportation, Department of Veterans Affairs. Section 4 is the economy, Department of Commerce, Department of the Treasury, Export-Import Bank, Federal Reserve. Oh, Phil's going to like that one, isn't he? Small Business Administration and Trade. Section 5 is independent regulatory agencies, financial regulatory agencies, the FCC, the FEC, the FTC. Those are the sections. There's no 0.1, 0.84. Let's see what they say about the Federal Reserve right quick. Money is an essential unit of measure for the voluntary exchanges that constitute the free market economy. Stable money allows people to work freely, helps businesses grow, facilitates investment, supports saving for retirement, and ultimately provides for economic growth. The federal government has long made policy regarding the nation's money on behalf of the people through their elected representatives in Congress. Over time, however, Congress has delegated that responsibility to first to the Department of Treasury, and now the quasi-public Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve was created by Congress in 1913 when most Americans lived in rural areas and the largest industry was agriculture. The impetus was a series of financial crises caused both by irresponsible banks and other financial institutions that overextended credit and by poor regulation. The architects of the Federal Reserve believed that a quasi-public clearinghouse acting as lender of the last resort would reduce financial instability and end severe recessions. However, the Great Depression of the 1930s was needlessly prolonged in part because of the Federal Reserve's inept management of the money supply. More recessions followed in the post-World War II years. In the decades since the Federal Reserve was created, there has been a downturn roughly every 5 years. If you look before pre-Federal Reserve, post-Federal Reserve, we have downturns less often, if you just look that up historically. This monetary dysfunction is related in part to the impossibility of fine-tuning the money supply in real time, as well as the moral hazard inherent in a political system that has demonstrated a history of bailing out private firms when they engage in excess speculation. Public control of money creation through the Federal Reserve System has another major problem. Government can abuse this authority for its own advantage by printing money to finance its operation. This necessitated the original Federal Reserve decentralization of political independence. Not long after the central bank's creation, however, monetary decision-making power was transferred away from regional member banks and consolidated in the Board of Governors. The Federal Reserve's independence is presumably supported by its mandate to maintain stable prices, yet central bank independence is challenged in two additional ways. First, like any other public institution, the Federal Reserve responds to the potential for political oversight when faced with challenges. Consequently, its independence in conducting monetary policy is more assured when the economy has experienced sustainable growth and when there is low unemployment and price stability, but less so in a crisis. Additionally, political pressure has led the Federal Reserve to use its power to regulate banks as a way to promote politically favorable initiatives, including those aligned with environmental, social, and governance (ESG) objectives. Even formal grants by power by Congress have not markedly improved Federal Reserve actions. I need to zoom in some.
Reload pill 78 GF Jed X 400.
Oh, thank you very much.
Catch the rest tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. During the Great Depression, the Federal Reserve was given the power to... Oh, I wasn't there yet. Is more assured when the economy... Additionally, political pressure has led the Federal Reserve to use its power to regulate banks as a way to promote politically favorable initiatives, including those aligned with environmental, social, and governance, ESG objectives. Even formal grants of power by Congress have not markedly improved Federal Reserve actions. Congress gave the Federal Reserve greater regulatory authority over banks after the stock market crash of 1929. During the Great Depression, the Federal Reserve was given the power to set reserve requirements on banks and regulate loans for the purchase of securities. During the stagflation of the 1970s, Congress expanded the Federal Reserve's mandate to include maximum employment and stable prices and moderate long-term interest rates. In the wake of the 2008 global financial crisis, the Federal Reserve's banking and financial regulatory authorities were broadened even further. The Great Recession also led to the initiatives by central banks, such as additional large-scale asset purchases. Together, these expansions have created significant risk associated with too-big-to-fail financial institutions and have facilitated government debt creation. Collectively, such developments have eroded the Federal Reserve economic neutrality. In essence, because of its vastly expanded discretionary powers with respect to monetary and regulatory policy, the Fed lacks both operational effectiveness and political independence. To protect the Federal Reserve's independence and to improve the monetary policy outcomes, Congress should limit its mandate to the sole objective of stable money. This chapter provides a number of options aimed at achieving these goals, along with the costs and benefits of each policy recommendation. These recommendations reforms are divided into two parts: broad institutional changes and changes involving the Federal Reserve's management of the monetary supply. So they're not in favor of getting rid of the reserve. It says recommendations: eliminate the dual mandate. The Federal Reserve was originally created to furnish an elastic currency and rediscount commercial paper so that the supply of credit could increase along with the demand for money and bank credit. In the 1970s, the Federal Reserve's mission was amended to maintain macroeconomic stability following the abandonment of the gold standard. Limit the Federal Reserve's lender of last resort function. To protect banks that overlend during easy money episodes, the Federal Reserve was assigned as lender of last resort, LOLR function. This amounts to a standing bailout offer and encourages banks and non-bank financial institutions to engage in reckless lending or even speculation that both exacerbates the boom and bust cycle, and it can lead to financial crises such as those of 1992 and 2008 with ensuing bailouts. Wind down the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. Until the 2008 crisis, the Federal Reserve never held more than $1 trillion in assets, bought largely to influence monetary policy. Since then, these assets have exploded, and the Federal Reserve now owns nearly $9 trillion of the mainly federal debt, $5.5 trillion, and mortgage-backed securities, $2.6 trillion. There is currently no governance oversight on these types of assets that the Federal Reserve purchases. Limit future balance sheet expansions to U.S. Treasury. So the Treasury should be making the purchases. Stop paying interest on excess reserves. Under this policy, also started in 2008, financial crisis, the Federal Reserve effectively prints money and then borrows it back from the banks rather than those banks lending money to the public. Monetary rule reform option. So they're in favor of the Federal Reserve, it would seem, keeping it and then just changing what it does to just one role instead of multiple roles. And they're in favor of the IRS. It even mentions the IRS in here. So I don't know how does this work with Phil and his bullshit, right? That doesn't make much sense. Phil doesn't even believe that the Fed has to be demolished. The IRS is not real. Taxation is theft. How does that all fit together?
Not all going to be, done in that way, but it's going to blow your socks right off your feet. I mean, it's not going to be. We can't do it the same old way. There's no way that it could be accomplished if we just keep doing things the same old way. Government has to be broke down. People have to be prosecuted. People have to be executed. People have to pay the price publicly for what's happened here. And
I thought that's already happened. You said the deep state was already all arrested.
Told about all the lies that have been corrupting our minds for as long as they have. I think the truth has to come out about everything. But again, I'm not the guy that makes that call. I think things will be released in a slow manner at first, as people get used to the fact that they've been manipulated psychologically for a very long time. And as people start accepting the fact that they have been manipulated, more and more things will come out, because the initial shock is going to be gut-wrenching. Not to me, not to most of you. We've talked about a lot of the things that have already happened behind the scenes, so it won't be gut-wrenching to us, but to the average public who are still awake, still asleep, it's going to be gut-wrenching. But over time, the more that comes out and the more that it's verified and the more that the... Thank you for that $200 Rumble rant from FU Jack D. That's funny. Phil, look up Project Pogo, Project Zephyr, KD Goldberg using Yandex Pro. Okay, I'll do that. I don't think I'm supposed to. I think I said the silent part out loud. I'll do that though. I think I know what you're talking about anyway, but I don't know about those names. But for those of you out there saying, "Oh well, by the way you're talking, Phil, it's going to take a long time," not necessarily. No, I don't think that. I don't agree with that at all. In fact, the reason why I don't think that is because this has been happening for the last 4 years. And when those of you that say, "Oh, nothing's happening. Why are we waiting so long? What the White Hats they're leading us on," and now maybe after this live stream, you're starting to realize what exactly has been taking so long. This is a very complex war. It's a war like no one's ever seen. Humanity has never seen. You think of a war, you think of cannons and guns and airplanes and mortars and troops, and that's not what this is. If it was, if it were that kind of war, it would have started in 2020 and it would still be ongoing. It would have been like one of the world wars.
Behind the scenes war, got it.
How they just stretched on for years with no end in sight. But although that is happening, it's not happening in that same context. It's a different type of war. It's a shadow war. It's a...
Yeah, I've never been considered a normie until these fucking crazy sons of bitches took over the internet.
Psychological war. A lot of people get caught up in the term, oh, well, that's a psyop. Q's a psyop. You're damn right Q is a psyop. Of course it's a psyop. Well, by definition, it is exactly a psyop. Q is a psyop. No doubt about it. But that doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that the information that's happening behind the scenes and by the people that are doing it, they're trying to help you understand it. They're trying to explain it to you. And for those of you that say, oh, well, they're just pacifying us.
I don't know that that's what it means.
They're trying to make us, they're kicking the ball down the road and they're going to steal everything from us. Well, listen.
By the way, let me show you this before I forget about it, because it just popped up again. I don't know if you need security cameras at your house, but there is a fucking amazing deal going on with Blink cameras right now. Look at this deal. Blink is Amazon bought Blink, right? So they got a good app. They got customer support. The Blink Outdoor 4 camera, the 4th generation, plus a Blink Mini, this 5-camera system that is usually $430 is on sale for $175. $175 on Amazon right now, which is insane if you need cameras.
That happens. I'm in the same boat as you, because I hate those people and I detest their every existence. Can I be certain that my source, as well as Donald Trump, as well as the rest of the majority of the White Hats that are in control, that are maneuvering and plotting out this very step that we're currently on and the conclusion, could I be sure that they don't take that buyout that I mentioned before? No. I can't be sure.
It's 4 of their outdoor cameras and 1 of their indoor cameras. They use AA batteries, so you don't have to run wires. Rather, all wireless. The batteries last for 2 years. Like, it's I don't know. It's a good deal.
Somebody's not going to go to the dark side. There's no way for me to know that. I'm not dumb. All I can tell you is this. I trust them. I also know of Project Looking Glass. We talked about Project Looking Glass before. This one over here. Q is a payoff. What does that mean? Payoff? No. PSYOP. PSYOP stands for psychological operation. And that's exactly what it was. Q was a psychological operation. It was meant to get into the minds of the masses through a dissemination campaign what was actually happening. Don't believe what you're seeing on the media because the media is lying to you. Here's what's actually happening. Drip, 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 drip. That's a PSYOP. It's not a bad PSYOP. People, for some reason, have taken the term PSYOP and cast it in a negative light, meaning when you hear it, you must disassociate with the word PSYOP. Why? You know how many successful psychological operations there have been in the United States? Wait until my film comes out, JFK. That's the biggest PSYOP there's ever been. Maybe even bigger than the one that we're going through right now. Out next week, by the way. Final cut is happening right now. Final copy next week will be ready for pre-sales. If you buy it in the pre-sale period, you're going to save money instead of waiting to the release date. So that'll be out next week. By the way, while we're on that topic, I want to mention Gold Quiz. With all of this happening, when all of this starts happening, becomes public, the markets are going to be... I'm not so sure we're going to have a stock market anymore. I think it'll be something new to replace it, but if you got your money in there, guys, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I try my best. I created PSI and philsilver.com for you to ease into the process of gold and silver as opposed to dollars. Then I created goldquiz.com. Links, by the way, for Gold Quiz are down in the description. I created goldquiz.com because I wanted you to take the money that you had saved up in a large sum, like a 401k, an IRA, whatever, or even just cash in the bank, and get it over into metals just like that. One appointment, boom, it's done. By the way, goldquiz.com is giving away $10,000 of free silver. Let me say that again. Goldquiz.com is giving away $10,000 of free silver to qualifying accounts. You have to be a qualifying account, meaning you have to be able to roll your 401k or IRA or 403b. You have to be able to roll the account over, and if you do, they're willing to give you $10,000 of free silver. Just tell them that I mentioned it in a live stream, and they'll work with you to get it done. But please, guys, get over to goldquiz.com. there's going to be a day that I never mention goldquiz.com again because it's too late. I'm a little surprised that that day hasn't come so far. I'm also very proud of all
Yeah, that's Mike Maloney.
all the people and all the people that we've helped through goldquiz.com and my vendors.
It's always weird that people tell you that dollars are worthless, that fiat currency is basically fucking not worth the money it's printed on. You've got to get gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. They also sell gold. And how do you purchase gold from them? What currency do you use when you purchase gold from them? Oh, dollars? But if you're going through their company to buy gold, where they have an interest in making money when you buy gold, why aren't they demanding they be paid in gold? It's weird.
On goldquiz.com, because we have literally moved the needle on the precious metals versus fiat dollar holdings because of all the rollovers that we did. So I'm super happy that those of you have done it. Your accounts are, I'm sure, through the roof. They're going to continue to rise. And for those of you that have not done it yet, please do. It's the best thing right now that you could do with all of the uncertainty that's happening in the world right now, especially the things that we talked about tonight. So another thing I want to talk about tonight is a problem that the Democrats have. I said for a while, and I stand by this today, and current intel suggests even just this week.
Phil doesn't demand all of his fucking, Phil doesn't demand that all of his fucking brand deals and advertisement shit. He doesn't make them pay him in fucking gold.
Will not be an election in November. Several key people have alluded to no election in November as well, one of them being General Michael Flynn. Now, as you guys know, I never bought into the bullshit about Flynn. In fact, I said for a very long time that I believe General Flynn will be announced as the next vice president of the United States, candidate for president of the United States by Donald Trump. And I stood by that for years until about a month or two ago when I got...
I don't know anything about Hashgraph other than when blockchain became big, Hashgraph was supposed to be like a competitor, but I'd never heard of it ever again.
Some conflicting information, but I'm still 50-50 on whether or not it's Flynn, even though I've been told that it's not, and that it is DeSantis. I don't know, man. I wonder if that was disinfo. I still...
And I know that I think it's, Hashgraph is when you see people talking about it in the forums, or when back in the day when you saw people talking about it in the forums, I think it was HAR, or it had an acronym for it, HAR or something like that. That was Hashgraph, but I never heard anything else about it.
Anyway, Flynn has suggested that there won't be an election in 2024 and there'll be some sort of black swan event. Well, let me tell you what that could be. Democrats right now are worried about perception. Most of these Democrats and most of these left-wing lunatics think exactly what I'm telling you not to think, that after the election...
Oh, is that what it is? HBAR? Yeah, that makes sense.
Whoever wins, even if Trump were to defeat Biden, hypothetically, in November, Trump gets elected, that's just another 4 years. We'll beat him. We'll beat him in 2028. That's how, because contrary to popular belief, not everybody in government knows what's actually happening. There's a very few select people that know what's happening in this cold war that we're fighting. Those same people that think everything is as it's seen on TV and on the news, those same people are trying to get Biden out of the race. Little do they know that there isn't an actual race, number one. And number two, if
there is an actual race, got it.
There was, they have another problem. The only way for somebody like Joe Biden to defeat Donald Trump in a fair election is what? Voter fraud.
The only way. Okay, listen. I'm going to lay this out. We're going to remove the names and everything. The only way for candidate A to beat candidate B in a fair election is what? To get more votes. I don't think you... Do you even hear the words that just fall out of your mouth, Phil? In a fair election. Cheat. Well, you said fair election.
That guy didn't beat Donald Trump. Come on. I mean, seriously, look at him. He looked the same back then. He's a little worse now. But there's no way that this Joe Biden candidate could actually win a fair election against Trump. So what they're going to try to do...
Well, you just said he could. A fair election by cheating.
Is election fraud. There's a problem with that. The fraud would have to be so massive that it's so obvious, and they're super worried about getting caught trying to do it, especially because the cabal has crippled. And they don't have...
Are they? Because even like 2000 Mules has like backtracked all their shit. I don't know if you remember that, Phil. Didn't you write the program for 2000 Mules? You called it PRISM, even though PRISM is an umbrella term for a government program, not a computer program. You made it into a computer program and then said that was a program that you wrote, remember? I don't know if you even remember that.
That they had back in 2020. Over the last 4 years, they have...
So when 2000 Mules came out, when they were showing the movie and they were like working in their data center, they were using stock footage on these computers that was like a military green and black, like kind of night vision drone thing. So I got a hold. Phil said that he's like, I was watching this. I recognize that. That's the program I wrote. It's called PRISM, the PRISM program. So as soon as Phil said that, I reached out to the special effects coordinator for 2,000 Mules and asked him. I said, hey, you know, I was just watching the movie or whatever, and great movie, by the way. Congrats on the success. I saw that in some of the programs. I told him that I was making a movie as well, and I saw the backgrounds of the computers that they were running, and I was wondering where they bought that stock footage, and they gave me the link to it. But according to Phil, it's a program that he wrote called PRISM. It just seems like the special effects coordinator didn't realize it. He was stealing Phil's NSA program to put it in the background. Phil thought when they shot the movie that the computer screens that they would show in a fucking movie were literally drone footage of voters.
Been decimated in every aspect that there is. So fraud with Biden is going to be extremely hard. But who would replace Biden? Trump went on record saying, oh, well, Kamala would probably be, the best candidate. And
you know, I don't know how big Rivian's market share is, but I feel like the other day I saw a video came out from a guy, a big YouTuber named Jerry Rig Everything, and he has a Rivian pickup truck. He had one like the first 300, and he did like a so many year review or whatever it was, and he had to get some stuff fixed. Went by the factory, talked to the people, and I swear I saw the stock jump just from his video. Which I don't know how big the market share is, how many shares there are. I didn't look that in depth into it, but when his video came out the next day, the stock was up just from his review of it, which he said he loved it. He'd buy it all over again, all that shit.
It looks like they're trying to. I got news for you about Kamala. She was offered that already. If they couldn't get Biden to, well, this is intel, by the way, so put your intel hats on. If they couldn't get Biden to step down, they were going to invoke the 25th Amendment. I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but right after the election fraud, and I think it was January of 21, probably after January 6th, possibly after the fake inauguration of Joe Biden, Trump went to the wall, the border, and they were trying to say that they're going to use the 25th Amendment against Trump because of his role in January 6th. And Trump said the famous words, quote, they're trying to use and invoke the 25th Amendment against me, but Joe Biden, be careful what you wish for. Remember that? Go back and look it up. He's wearing a big, dark, black trench coat. Anyway, that is just another tip of the hat, so to speak, as to how long this has been scripted for. So they're trying to get Biden to step down out of the race and replace him with another candidate. Here's the problem. The other candidates that and this is the reason why they haven't even invoked the 25th Amendment yet. The other candidates that...
He had to get the tonneau cover fixed, like an updated model. He had to get his windshield replaced. A couple things that were like issues with like the first few models that they knew and fixed, and then other things that he fucked up.
They think they could win with via election fraud, are aware of the election fraud. Kamala Harris wants no part of it. Kamala Harris thinks that she's going to be prosecuted already, let alone if she agrees to run on a fixed ticket.
Okay.
They can't find somebody that's willing to take the place of Biden because those candidates know that Trump is not to be beat. So it's like accepting.
Why wasn't there more candidates to be president? There were a bunch. Trump made fun of them all. Republicans cheered them on, and he's the only candidate left.
The forbidden fruit. Oh, we're going to make you president. Let's be president. Look what we can do. Look what we can do. They're like, no, that didn't work out too good for Eve in the garden, so I'm not going to do it. And they're resisting. Nothing the place of Biden because those candidates know that Trump is not to be beat. So it's like accepting the forbidden fruit. Oh, we're going to make you president. Let's be president. Look what we can do. Look what we can do. They're like, no, that didn't work out too good for Eve in the garden.
The problem with running against Trump, once he coins a nickname against you, has his fan base attack you online, makes fun of you, your political career is over. If you don't beat him, your political career is over.
So I'm not going to do it. And they're resisting. So there's this purgatory period right now, so to speak, where Biden...
So yeah, he's a charismatic... Well, I don't know if you'd call him charismatic. He's able to rally a bunch of people around him and get people to turn out and vote, get people excited, but he kind of fucking rips your party apart, right? All those other people that may have been good candidates in the next election, or maybe you want to put them in as this position or that position or this cabinet position or whatever, they kind of look like shit now.
Still the candidate. They don't want Biden the candidate, but they can't find someone to be the candidate because no one wants to go along with fraud. They're aware of the fraud that happened in 2020, and they're aware that they really have to do it again, big time, in order to try to steal an election. Now, little do they know that all of that is just complete nonsense because none of that is going to happen in terms of an election, in terms of fixing an election, all of that. Just more exposing of themselves. But when you see Biden not stepping down or the 25th Amendment not being invoked, you are witnessing panic.
If I ever get the other channel, the project channel, off the ground, I want to build a pickup truck. I want to take a pickup. I don't want to build like a custom pickup. I want to take a pickup truck that's got a blown up motor in it. And I want to do what Edison Motors did. I want to put a diesel generator that runs at peak RPMs in the engine bay. I want to put batteries in it. for it to charge the batteries, and then I want it to be a diesel electric. You get so much better fuel economy out of it because the diesel engine is always running at peak performance. It's always running at the right RPM. It's already doing its thing. It charges the batteries. You can still fill up on diesel. You still have a full tank. I think that would be an awesome vehicle, especially for like where I live, like out in the middle of nowhere, because there's not places to like charge a whole lot of electric vehicles. There's like 2 chargers in my town, and that's just because Kroger got a tax break for putting them in. But yeah, I think they would be awesome. I want to get like probably like a 250 or 350 or 2500, 3500 with a blown motor and try that project.
Panic. Big time panic. Somebody over here said Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's dead. Been dead for a couple years now. Killed himself.
Dead.
Oh, what? They didn't report it? That doesn't surprise me. So, oh, by the way, before I forget, TacRite, one of my sponsors, they finally have those night vision goggles back in stock. It's been completely sold out. I think my audience alone just completely ramped, destroyed their inventory. They finally got those night vision goggles back in. These are military grade goggles. You wear them outside to see everything like it's daytime.
They're absolutely not military grade goggles. You know how I know? Because military night vision goggles, I don't know if you know this, but military night vision goggles are like $20,000 a pair. You can't buy a $60 pair of night vision and call it military grade. Where did they cut the corners out? You can't call the company and get the specs on the night vision goggles for fucking $60.
Absolutely amazing technology out there. They're finally back in stock. Finally back in stock. The link to TacRite is down in my description. I think it's the last one. There's gold quiz and another one, and the other one. It's all the way down bottom. TacRitePhil.com. Night vision goggles, great for a birthday present, great for a holiday gift.
I do like the idea that Web Motorsports that we looked the other day. I really did sit down and me and this guy that I used to work with, another millwright, we talked about this for fucking probably 4 hours one day on a rain day. We should have done that. I could be a millionaire right now.
One of those things that you could get for the person that...
At the time, I had all kinds of connections with GE and shit, too. And GE engineers. I was talking to them on a regular basis.
Seems to have everything. You know, like...
Too late in the dollar store.
You can't buy a gift. This is just awesome. Like, you'll see that whoever you buy it for, even if they're not the outdoorsy type, and that's what it's geared towards. But even if they're not, you'll see them outside with the goggles just like playing around because they're freaking cool, man. It's like a military grade set of goggles. Awesome stuff. Link down below in the description. TacRite's been a long time partner of mine, and I haven't mentioned them lately because they've been out of inventory. They haven't been able to, fulfill any orders, so they're back now. Anyway,
I would like to know who owns TacRite. Is it just some guy in Vietnam or Laos or some shit, or is it one of Phil's friends who's reselling cheap Chinese crap?
Yeah, Project 25. I think it's a good idea to look at it. Maybe not all 900 pages, with the notion that not all of it is in our plan, the White Hat's plan. But boy, you guys have to
yeah, the fucking CIA agent could tell you about night vision goggles.
Realize that to get out of the situation that we're in right now, it's not just voting.
I wonder if Phil could tell you the different modes of a set of night vision goggles.
Voting is a sham. No one could win a rigged election. Whoever counts the votes and whoever is paid off to count the votes and swing the election in their favor, that's who wins. We don't have a free republic. You are living in la-la land if you think that's how it's been. It has never been that way. Even in 2016, we finally won in 2016 through the fraud because they had no idea he was going to get that many votes. They committed fraud in 2016. That's why Hillary won the popular vote. But he got so many votes where it mattered that the Electoral College it was his. Brunson case. I'll talk about that, then it's going to be the end of the live. Somebody just mentioned the Brunson case. Nino Rodriguez had a guy on Nino's Corner just this last week that said he has a source that told him the Supreme Court has already overturned the 2020 election. In fact, they did it a long time ago. But before they were...
We understand a bunch of people fucking lie. Hell, he probably heard your video.
...going to announce it. The military came in and said, you were right to overturn it, but you can't announce that. Not in this current climate that we're in with COVID and the vaccines going out and this and all the, everything. There would have been a civil war. So the military stepped in and said, you are going to put a lid on that and we're going to take over from here. And the justices said, what could they say? They had to agree. I remember there was a video in July, I think, of 2021 of a very handsome individual with a Las Vegas Raiders football jersey on. His black, had number 17 on it. And he appeared to be sitting on a porch. And this very charming, intelligent individual told you exactly those words, that the Supreme Court had overturned the election. And it's just a matter of time before it's announced. Yeah, that was me. I might have said it a long time ago. So, yeah. And now it's being re-reported, which appears to be a different source. And that is accurate information. The election in 2020 was already overturned. And there were many things that needed to happen before that piece of information came out. Because if only...
Wait, all you said that had to happen is that had to be secured.
That information came out. Let's say it came out 3 years ago in 2021. If only that information came out and the rest of the cabal wasn't dealt with, the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the Royals, the Rothschilds. By the way, that one family that has...
By the way, at this time, Phil was saying that it was all wrapped up. It was all wrapped. They already had everybody been caught. Everything happened.
all the trillions of dollars more than the rest of the world, it's the Rothschild family. And by the way, they've been dying a lot, haven't they lately? Interesting. Anyway, if all of that wasn't done to deal with all of the cabal's roots that they have rooted into our world, it doesn't matter if the election was overturned. It doesn't matter if election fraud was put in front of the Supreme Court. None of it matters. All of the cabal has to be uprooted forever. It's like a weed. You have weeds in your grass. So you go cut off the top of the weed, or you just cut it with a grass cutter. What happens? The weed grows back. It's not going to go away if you keep cutting it. Yeah, let's cut them down again, cut them down again, cut them down again. They just keep growing. You have to either pull it out by the root and leave no root remaining, or put some kind of poison on it. And that's what, metaphorically, we've been doing to the cabal for the last 4 years. And that's why the decision by the Supreme Court in the summer of 2021 was never made public. It will be made public. How will they make it public? I don't know. He knows the guy saw you. Maybe. It didn't sound like that, though. It sounded like he had something else going on. But how will it be made public that this all happened in 2021? And I have no idea. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in charge of that. I think the White Hats put themselves in such a stupid position to now unveil this, because it's just so much harder if they just did it a different way. But I'm not privy to other things that they are privy to. So I have one more sponsor for tonight I wanted to mention. This is a new one, Chuck Norris. I am sponsored by Chuck Norris's products tonight. Is that not awesome? ChuckDefense.com/Phil. Legendary actor, celebrity Chuck Norris. Recently saw a video he made with Shock. He's still in his 80s. He's still kicking ass, working out, and staying active. Chuck made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to ChuckDefense.com/Phil or by clicking the link down below in my description. It's both in the Rumble description as well as the Locals description. You'll see it there. Really cool stuff. Chuck Norris is a beast. I'm sure a lot of you guys grew up watching Chuck Norris. This guy, 80 years old, he looks like me, and I am fit. A lot of people tell me I'm fit. I'm very fit. So, and, a lot of people actually say, Phil, you remind me of Chuck Norris. I'm like, well, thank you. I don't know who Chuck Norris is, but that's what a lot of people say. So I'm not going to disagree with that, because there's a lot of them. So many people. So Chuck Norris is one of my sponsors. ChuckDefense.com/Phil. That'll get you there. And you get a discount by going to that exact URL as well. By the way, guys, when I say stuff like that, I'm being sarcastic. I hope you know that. I'm trying to make you smile. I like when people smile. I think more people should smile more often. I don't think people smile enough, especially nowadays. So thank you guys for tuning in. I am going to have a Q&A. I think it's going to be a Q&A. Could be another Intel drop. I think Saturday. Could be tomorrow. I don't know. Watch Telegram for the announcement. And obviously the emails as well. Not sure if it's going to be tomorrow or Saturday, but I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the information and the explanations of everything that I went over tonight. Click on those sponsors. Really, really good stuff, especially if you're looking to save.
That sounds like such a fucking fake ass website, dude. It's something called Roundhouse Provisions by Chuck Norris. Survival food and wellness formulas. He must be needing money, I'm assuming. Chuck Norris did Bowflex forever. And, of course, Chuck Norris didn't work out on a goddamn Bowflex machine. It's a health and wellness. It is something called the Morning Kick Travel Pack, emergency food supplies, 3-hit combo. Looks like a multivitamin, 3-day emergency meal kit, Gut Strike, which is like Phil's gut cleanse, I'm sure, survival mode energy bars, and base camp complete meals. So it's kind of like multivitamin, supplement, and MREs from a company named Roundhouse Provisions. My goal with Roundhouse, maybe he did start this company. My goal with Roundhouse Provisions and emergency food supplies is to make sure you're always prepped and ready. We use high-quality ingredients and give you and your family a delicious way to help a strong handling situation from natural disasters to outdoor adventures, any emergency, even the everyday ones. And that's from Chuck Norris. It says that Chuck Norris, former karate world champion and member of the U.S. Air Force, knows how to be prepared in an emergency. Okay, so they just have an affiliate program. Trying to see what they pay.
Save your wealth from the cabal. Get over to goldquiz.com. And the other one's obviously really good gifts and really good stuff for your health. So check out my sponsors. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you within the next day or two. Love you guys.
They have an affiliate program with cookies. I don't know. I'm assuming that's why he's doing it. The company could have also approached him and said, hey, we'll give you fucking $5,000 to say this on your show. Or Phil just picked it up and said, okay, we're going to do this. And I'm going to make, 10% off every purchase. I'm not sure. Sometimes he's offered brand deals through Rumble as well. So Rumble has this partner outreach program where Rumble gets deals with companies, and the company says, I'll pay this much per view or this much per 1,000 views or whatever. And then Rumble reaches out to people who have large audiences in their email box and does it. So there you go. I'm not sure. But it's called Roundhouse Provisions is what he's selling now, which is MREs. If they think Trump's coming to save the world, why do they need night vision goggles and MREs? Seems kind of weird. Anyways, guys, that's it. Phil came out and talked about Agenda 37 and Project 42. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I want to cover Phil. Listen, the next couple of days, I'm going to do a couple Patreon shows, probably one tomorrow and probably one on the weekend. One of them's going to just be hang out, see what you guys are doing for the lower tier. That'd be Twitch, and I'll probably be messing around on Fusion 360. You guys can hang out. We'll watch some funny videos, maybe even do call-ins while I make this will be Twitch subscribers and patrons. It'll probably be tomorrow, and then this weekend I'm going to do some of the top-tier patrons to get back in the swing of Patreon stuff because that's a substantial income source, and I've been so fucking busy with everything in the holiday and Liam's birthday and shit. I missed the last week and a half or something Patreon. So if you want to sign up for that or become a Twitch subscriber to get that show, you're more than welcome. The first one will just be kind of hang out. The second one will be a legit Patreon show for that'll be the $15 and up members. If you're interested in that, or if you want to become a Twitch subscriber, do it. And then we'll do free shows around that. I don't really care if I miss like a free show to do a Patreon show, just because, I mean, that's an income source that I could use right now to pay the bills. So I might have to sacrifice some of the free shows because I'm working so damn much right now. But you know, it's a summertime thing. It's a money thing. The better the show does, the less I have to work, which right now it's not work because I have to work. It's work because it's the time of the year, but we'll see. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Check out Project 63 and Agenda 113. Trump's new plans. Phil says it was leaked, but he leaks in other places, not in his documents. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next one.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better.
Thank you guys. Have a good night. I'll see you around on the next one.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the